wait a little bit before I start yakking. I'm an early bird today. I had my chemo yesterday and I feel a little better. This will be for people who are going to watch it after it's over, because right now I have 0 people on. Pretty early. Mostly this is for the Filipinos, because over there it's 15 to 5 in the morning. Here it's 15 to 5, or 15:05 in the afternoon. I mean, it's 15 to 5. Hey, Tia, how you doing? Oh, they told me, I thought I had my last chemo yesterday, but it was such a downer when I went to leave. I said, oh, this is my last one. They said, no, you've got 8. I said, well, this is the 8th one. And they said, no, that's 8 courses. So I was like, oh, crap. You mean I got to keep doing this shit, this damn stupid roller coaster? I'm on like number 2 of the 8 courses. So this sucks. I was just like, screw them. I want to take like next week, just say screw it, take a week off. I'm tired of this roller coaster where like today I feel pretty good. And then in 2 days I'm going to feel like shit again where I can't walk. They need to give me a stinking break here. I did get the hospital did call about the T-cell thingies, or they're going to pull cells out of my body. I don't know. I'll have to read more about that. From what I understand is they're going to pull these cells out of my body and then wipe my immune system. Well, what happens if they lose the cells they pulled out, or they die or something? Then I'm screwed. I got no immune system. And that's gone forever. So I bet, I'm going to really look this over good before they do this. Oh well, but I was a little bit bummed that I'm nowhere near done. You know what? They should have explained this in the beginning, so I'm ready for it. Hey, Space. They should have been a little bit more on what it was going to be. I'm thinking it's 8 times I go there. 8 weeks I go and get the chemo. Now I'm finding out it's 8 courses and I'm on the 2nd course. How stupid. I mean, these people and their crap, they don't give you any warnings. I think maybe because the insurance is paying, so they're just going to keep me on this crap. So it's I walked out of there just totally bummed yesterday. Just really, really bummed out. Came home and I slept as hell about 10 o'clock at night. Just depressed. Like there's just no end to this crap. When they're going to end. And I talked to the fellow in there. He said, no, he only had 8 individual chemos. He didn't have 8 courses. And that's why I started thinking, oh, yeah, the insurance is paying. Now I got insurance and they're paying. So they want to keep me on this chemo, I don't know, till the end of time. Instead of me being done, 8 courses, instead of being done, I got to keep going. That's why I'm depressed. I feel good. I'm walking all around right now. There's no pain. They gave me this, the girl came up from the pain center and she gave me this new shit called buprenorphine. That's this stuff here. It's a patch. And it's working. This stuff is working. I talked to a couple people that got it. My one buddy down south, his buddy's got it. He's got cancer. And then I talked to a fella in the chemo yesterday that he goes, I can't believe they made you wait so long to put you on it. He says, they put me on it right away. And they were giving me all this other bullshit. It didn't work. And now they're giving me this. And man, I slept like a baby last night. Even though I woke up at 10, we had some lasagna. Then I went back to sleep. I just got up, 15 minutes ago. And I feel good. I'm walking all over the floor. I walked in the bathroom like there's nothing wrong with me. My hands still hurt though. I still have that, but there's more strength in them today than there was yesterday. So that's good. And also I played around last night before I went back to sleep, and I did get a PayPal thingy. I had some fellow wanted to donate a few bucks, and I have Zille, Z-I-L-L-E, through the bank. A lot of people don't have that. So I opened up a PayPal, and all you have to do is put my email address in to donate. It's rickshaw82885 @gmail.com. That's the email address if anybody wants to donate a few bucks, because we got to get a car here. I went yesterday, and there was no way I could go over to that place over on Payne Avenue. I couldn't get in the bus. I had that walker, so the bus driver just pulled away. I did not have the money to get an Uber to drive over there, so I had to just get on the van and go home. And they will not entertain my application unless I show up physically to this stupid place. And I called them up. I said, come on, I'm disabled. I can't go. Well, you're going to the clinic, so you can come here. That's how they were. That's just exactly how they were. And it's like, can I send a proxy, get somebody else? No, it has to be physically you come in if you're applying. So, there's going to be no help over there for me getting, help with the move and all this stuff. So, it's just a real bummer how the government works. They got to realize that, there's certain times that I can't go. And I don't have the money for an Uber. It was going to be, to get me home, it was going to be about $50-$60. Now I'm sitting here with $20 in my checking account, $27 in my checking account until the end of the month. And I still got to get the $70 for the application for our apartment, the one we want to move into. So it's depressing. I was in the Philippines. I had gobs of money. I mean, we had gobs and gobs of money left over every month. And now I'm back here in the States, and we're just broke hillbilly bums is what we are right now. And there's help from the government, but they set up all these hoops to make it difficult to go get. And that's depressing. I just zonked out yesterday. I just said I got to shut my brain off and process all this bullshit that's going on. So not happy about it, guys. These, like I say, these agencies, they set up where, yeah, we're going to help you, no problem. Here, jump through all these hoops, and then when you finally get through all those hoops, we're going to tell you no anyway. That's how I see it. That's exactly how I'm seeing things right now. And they put these people down there that are just idiots. They're low IQ idiots down there. That's the only ones that get a job. And who the hell would want to work over there on Payne Avenue anyway? That's not the best area in the world. I go to the VA, and you go through neighborhoods where all the houses, the windows are all like they're bombed out. It looks like you're in Beirut, not like you're in America. Same thing like when I used to live in Pittsburgh. There was areas you went through where these people, for some reason, they destroy the place they live at. If there's a neighbor's house next to me that's abandoned, I'll go water the plants. I'll even mow the lawn to keep it looking nice. But not over there, boy. They go in and get rocks and smash all the windows, throw trash all over the place. I don't understand folks like that. That's what you have over there. It's not really good. But that is why I'm depressed. Space MGD. I don't know what the GD's for. We'll get by. We'll get things always seem to work out. It's just going to take longer. I really feel bummed right now that there's so many nice cars for sale, and the price come down. And I know what's going to happen. Just like last year, we didn't buy one last year because people will pay more for a winter beater. They want to put their good car in the garage, and they go out and buy a winter beater. And then come springtime, they get rid of their winter beaters, so the prices of cars drops to nothing. It'll go in half. These cars I looked at last year, like a Fleetwood was $8,000-$9,000. Now $4,000 or $5,000. People are just wanting rid of them. The one fella I talked to with the Fleetwood, he says, "Look, I just don't have a place to park it anymore. My grandson wants to put a boat in my garage. He bought a boat. I don't drive it that much, He said last year we put about 80 miles on it. And he goes, there's only 50,000 on it from the beginning. So I'm like, boy, that would probably be a good car to get. And he says, I just had it up for service. They replaced the hoses and the belts and stuff like that. He goes, just to get it ready. And he says, I wanted to ready it for sale. The tires are only not even 2 years old with no miles on them. He said they did the air, checked the brakes. He said they gave it a clean bill of health. So you're getting a really good car. He says, we never drove it much or drove it hard. So I said, oh, great. So, but that one, by the time I get the money, that thing will be gone. He wanted $4,500 for it. But there's a few of them. I hope something comes up good. And like I said before, I'm not really worried about the gas economy in it because I got an alfalfa. I won't be, it's not like I'm going to work every day. I'll be, this will be for running to Walmart. And the reason why I like the Continentals and the big Cadillacs, they got a huge trunk. Looked at it, and the trunk is just monstrous. And I thought that would be perfect because when I go shopping, I shop for the month, guys. That's why I have the deep freezer. I get my payday in the beginning of the month of the 3rd, and I like to go up and just, okay, here's 4 bags of shrimp. We're gonna have shrimp one day a week. Here's 4 setups how to make spaghetti. So we're gonna have spaghetti once a week. Here's a roast. Here's 4 roasts we're gonna have on Sunday. We're gonna have roast with potatoes and carrots and all that on Sunday. And that's how I buy mine. I think in my head while I'm shopping of how I want to do that entire month. And then we have food for the entire month, and I like to go a little over, so it goes a little bit more in a month, because sometimes my check is stupid. They'll say it's going to be in on the 3rd, and it's late. Like this month, it was the latest it's been. The sad thing is it's gone. It's gone already. By the time I went shopping the other day, we spent $365 at the Walmart, and then we came back and spent another $91 across the street. But we're covered for food. We're covered really good for food. And it was nice. Our neighbor lady, drove us there. She's a real sweetheart. She's 71, Puerto Rican woman, but she don't look 71 at all. I figured out she looked to me like she was about 50. And she told me one day, no, I'm 71 years old. I'm like, damn, girl. She's in nice shape, and she's very, very good person to us. Driving us around. She came before Faye came. It's Gilbert's girl, and he's one of the nicest guys you're ever going to meet here. I don't think I'm going to find a nicer buddy around, and I wanted to get this place cleaned up before Faye came because I had dropped stuff on the kitchen floor, slops and mess. Same with the bathroom floor, and I couldn't get down on the floor to clean it up. So I asked her. I said, "Hey, you want to make $50 to clean my kitchen and bathroom?" And she was all happy. Yeah, sure. She came down and we were yakking while she was doing it. Those days I couldn't move. I could not get up to barely go to the bathroom. I was really in a sorry condition. And then Faye came right after that. So I didn't want Faye coming into a dirty house because she's clean. She's like a super neat freak. She'd have had a fit. And I wouldn't have wanted her to walk in the door and then just immediately started cleaning. That wouldn't have been cool at all. That's not the way you do things. So, but she's here. She's taking really good care of me. Yesterday I had a hard time getting to the bathroom. She was helping me in there. But now today I woke up and I put my feet on the ground and I'm virtually pain-free. The only thing that's bothering me right now is my hands. I got 1,000 pins and needles in my fingers, but they are stronger. I can tell they're stronger, and I'm getting a little bit more bend out of them today than I was. So hopefully this will work. And this new medicine, it's a patch you put on for 1 week. You put it on, and I'll leave it on until next Sunday, and then I put a new one on. And I have my buddy down south, his friend gets them and said they work great. When I was in the hospital, they had another patch. I can't remember what that patch was, but it was worthless. I told them, look, don't bother giving me those. There's a bunch of this medicine where I told them, something, I'm not going to take it anymore because it doesn't work. Like the nerve pill I had for my hands, I'd have to get the name of it. It's crap. But it's a blue capsule. I took that. And she says, well, okay, next week, why don't you kick it up to 2 pills? instead of one. So I said, okay, so I took 2 pills, and that's a before bedtime pill. I woke up in the morning, went to the can. If they wouldn't have been standing there, I'd hit the floor. I got so damn dizzy. So I was like, I'm going to just stop taking this. I'll have to put up with the pain in my hands. And, I'm just not going to keep taking something. If I fall down and break a bone, it won't heal. They gave me this medicine that's stunting the growth of my bones right now. I went to the dentist, and they were explaining that to me, why they couldn't do anything with this tooth here. He says, because your jaw will rot. He says, you just took this medicine, so we have to wait. You have to wait about 6 months. I said, okay, that's cool. It's not going anywhere. I got a little tiny hole in this tooth in the side, and, I had one on the other side before it got in and cracked a tooth, and that was years. I just kept cleaning it out with a toothpick, and it was fine. Didn't hurt. And this one don't hurt. And I got chewing tobacco stuffed in there now, so that kills any bacteria that makes the hole bigger. Larissa Cross. Okay, what is it? Hi, how you doing? But that's where we're at right now with the chemo and stuff. I just wish, when you go in, if you have to get something like this, pin them down on exactly how many treatments you're going to get. Because when I went in there, they said, oh, you're going to have 8 treatments. Well, I didn't know there was 4 treatments per each 8 number. I'm on course number 2 of 8. So, that was depressing, because I got to keep going down there every Monday, I don't know, till the end of time. It's just a real bummer. The time I felt the best was when they made me go from Thursdays to Mondays. And Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I felt like $1 million. I was out in the garage. I felt good. You can look at the video. I felt great for those 3 days, because they weren't poisoning me. So now I go back to the poison. I get this thing. I feel good for a day or 2 when I first get it. And then 3rd and 4th and 5th day, I'm just wrecked. I don't say a whole lot about it, but believe me, guys, it's rough. It's just absolutely rough. The hips hurts. I can't walk. I got to get a stupid pee bucket over here to piss in, so I don't piss my damn pants. And the one thing that I'm really pissed off about, and everybody's doing it. Carhartt's doing it. Wrangler's doing it. Levi is doing it. They're putting these little teeny tiny zippers on there, and when I try to grab them, I can't get a hold of them, because I got no sensation in my fingertips now. I can't feel when I touch stuff. And I'm trying to get a hold of this damn zipper, and you can't get them. My wife, I'll show you what we had to do to help me out. But this right here, guys, if you ask me, is a cheap, stupid thing they did. But look how tiny this little zipper thing is on my pants. These are a pair of Wranglers. Look at that compared to my finger size. I can't get a hold of it. It hurts like hell. We got some of my daughter's hair ties to make a little grabber for me. Otherwise, I have to go, and by the time I stand up, I gotta go. I can't fiddle around with the damn zipper for 5 minutes trying to get a stupid zipper down. I did put paper clips. I was using paper clips on there before Faye came, but you throw the pants in the washer and the paper clip falls off. And then, I gotta get that on. And it's actually, for me to put the paper clip on through the hole, is harder than hell. My fingers, I just don't have the dexterity right now. But on the scan, that little blotch that's hitting my nerve in my back, it's tiny. It's only as big as a pea, but he said the only problem that it's big as a pea, it's focused just dead center on the nerve. So that's why I still have the numbness. That's why I still got to keep taking the chemo until that's gone. And then they want me to do the stem cell, and that's supposed to, my body's just, own antibodies are going to repair themselves and supposedly go in there and kill it. Yeah, zip tie would be the thing, but I don't have any right now. I got to get, I have to get some bigger, wider ones. I got these little skinny, they're super narrow ones for doing fine work inside of an electronics board. Well, I can't get a hold of that either, unless I want to leave a big, long plastic dick hanging out the front of my pants. That's stupid. So if I can go down to, I forgot when I was in Walmart the other day, I was going to get so much stuff. I was going to get my watch fixed. I got this watch. I don't know. I bought this thing, I don't know how many years ago. I don't like looking at the phone for the clock because the phone's always buried somewhere. But I got this really nice Casio watch, 5, 6 years ago, and I love it, but the battery's dead. I think what I might do, Casio's got another watch, and it's one of them ones that you just put it in the sun. That's what charges the battery. You get it out in the light. You don't even got to put it in the sun. It showed on the video that you just put it by a light bulb, even an LED light bulb, and it charges the battery up. And but I do like this one. I've had this thing for years. It's an Edifice. Yeah, that's what it is. And I just love. They had a thinner one, but it was so much more money. And I thought, no, I wanted to get the kids some stuff that day. We were at the mall, and so I said I'll get the cheaper one. It's a little bit fatter, which I like thin. I had a Skagen watch that I wore for years and years and years, and that damn thing was only twice as thick as two credit cards. And it was just, that was my favorite watch. It was nice looking, but I left it on my dresser. I was in the process of moving, and like a dummy, I left the door open. And I had it sitting I had a thing right inside the door. It was like a little dresser thing. It had a drawer in it, almost like a gun rack, but no gun rack on top. And I used to put my wallet in my watch, and somebody reached in and grabbed it. And that was a gift from my dad. And that was a real bummer that I lost that, because I had that since I was a teenager. And it worked good. I actually had to take it in. It wasn't any kind of quartz watch. It was actually one you had to wind it up. And it had in the back, it had, instead of having a aluminum bezel in the back, it had a clear glass one, so you could see the workings of it. And after I had it for it must have been about 12, 15 years, I took it to a watch guy, and he completely took it apart, cleaned the innards, and had to replace a gear. There was one of the gears was bad. I had to wait for like 6 months for him. He said, I can't get the part. He said, I tried to get the parts from Germany. He said, I tried. And he says, finally, I just had to make the part. Sorry it took so long. And I wound up paying as much as it would have cost probably for a new watch. But it was the gift from the old man. And that was a beautiful watch. But somebody grabbed it, and it's probably not worth anything to him. To me, that was worth gold. And but that was a beautiful watch. I wish I wouldn't have lost it. Went through about 6 or 7 bands on that thing. I had it so long. Wore it every day. This one I wore every day. I wore this damn watch every day, and it keeps super good time. But now what happened was the last, before the battery ran out, the little tiny timers, those quit working. So I need to send it back to Casio and let them fix it. And sometimes what they do, this happened to a buddy of mine, and he said, yeah, his timers went out. So what they did was, after he sent the watch in, they said, okay, we can fix this at no charge, or we can give you the money that you paid for this watch towards a new watch, of course, a much more expensive watch. And that's what he did, and he wound up getting the one I want, the real little fine one. So hopefully maybe they'll do that for me too, because if they do, I'm going to snap it up after we get a little bit better situated for money. I can't do any of that stuff right now. We're just in a bind. We were way behind, and we're looking to make a deal. Not that kind of deal, though. We're not going down to Georgia. We're going to go down to Alabama. But that part of this thing, I have to show up. Hopefully I get feeling better to where I can get around, and we get a vehicle, and then I can go to that place on Payne Avenue and get the thing for the housing, because they tell me I can get a house with no down payment through the VA, and that's all part of this application I'm filling out. And they got so much paperwork I got to get, and it's time sensitive. I mean, if I don't get this thing turned in, all the papers I got for the last months of my bank statements, they want to be up your ass with a magnifying glass. Then those will be expired, and I'll have to get new, and it's running down to get copies. I wish we had a computer. I have the laptop. I'd like to have a printer. If we had a printer with the Bluetooth, so we can get this stuff off our phone. It's real easy for me to get stuff on my phone, but then I got to print it from my phone to, to somewhere. And I understand that since I got this Apple laptop, the printer will plug right in, and then I can just plug my phone in and download it. It has to be downloaded to the computer, and it'll print whatever I want. You just pull up the pages, and it looks really easy. Because I was playing with the computer the other day. I just charged it, but I got to get a printer somewhere, and the printers aren't that expensive. It's just until you go get a one that's going to work with this iPhone. It's got to have a special connector, and I don't know, a bunch of stuff. So we have to look for that. I've been looking online. It seems to me one of the best places to buy anything is eBay. Like Moomoo's Castle, the guy gave us a fantastic deal. He sold out the one that I ordered. So he said, look, I'm going to let you have the $169 3-in-1 for the $89, what you would have paid for the smaller one. Well, he got this damn thing the other day, and it's just huge. It's a little bit overwhelming for him. His brother was helping him with it, and then they get in the fuss because then he wants Maddie to help, then he doesn't want him to help, and so I think it was a little bit too advanced for him. He'd have probably been better off with the smaller one. But he's making dragons and little parts of it. He's doing like sections, but his mistake, when Matty was building his Lego Bugatti, he took the bag out and he finished one bag, then he went and did another bag. Hey, how you doing, Peter? Well, what happened is Moomoo emptied all the bags into a big box. So now he's got to dig for stuff, and it's frustrating to try to find the part he needed that would have been in bag one. Now it's in just a huge box, and there's thousands of pieces in this thing, thousands. It's at 4,400, something like that. So a lot of it's easy. I see stuff like the little men where you got to put, they count the hat as a piece and the arms as pieces. So I went in there, and as best as I could with my fingers was putting little men together for him, because they got guards on there holding spears, and I found a bunch of that to try to help him out a little bit. Because he's like me, he's the kid that is most like me, and sometimes when I'm doing stuff, if things don't go right, I got to walk away because I'll get frustrated. If I can't do something, sometimes I get frustrated, and he's the same way. Matty, he just keeps plugging along. I love the way Matty does something. He doesn't get frustrated. He'll go, I can't find his people. Well, he'll just sit there and keep looking. He does not get frustration, so. He's got a better temperament, but as I watch the kids grow, you can tell Moomoo's going to be a leader. You can just see it in him already. He's going to take charge and be a leader of whatever he does. Where Matty, he's a little bit more of a follower. So we're going to work on him with that, because he's a beautiful kid. He's my favorite. He's absolutely my favorite. But he's being the stingy one now. Moomoo's been popping up in the morning, runs over and gives me a hug. Dorothy gives me a big hug first thing in the morning. Matty will walk right by, sit down in a chair and just stare at me. I got to go, hey, pal, you forget something? And he makes a big fuss on giving me a hug in the morning now. But he's really something. They're all doing, right now, if you look at their grades in school, they just gave that little report thing, the one right before the end of the year, and it's just A's right down the line, all of them. And there's only, in all of their report cards, there's only one B. Everything else is just straight A's. So I'm really happy. They like the school. The boys will be going to Brook Park for Maddie for 1 year, Moomoo for 2 years, and then they go back to Berea School. Dorothy's going to just head up to the big school because Brook Park don't have a the middle school. I think she might have to wait till 6th grade. I have to check. I have to check again and talk to the girl up at the apartment when we take our applications in. But we got to get them in this month. Somebody was saying they were going to send a couple bucks, and I said, boy, if they send that, I'll go straight down, even if I have to walk it, because I feel good today. I mean, I could probably, I'd start walking, and then if something happened, I'd call up our buddy to come get me. But as of right now, I'm having no pain walking. I could stand up, not quite straight. I have a mighty hunch, like on The Simpsons, when Bart had the mighty, arr, matey. I got to get a parrot for my hunch. But maybe a patch. I could be like Dan Crenshaw and have my patch. but I won't be a dick like he is. But yeah, we got that big election coming up. Me, I know everybody, a lot of people really like Trump, but I think I'm gonna sit this next one out. I'm not gonna be a guy who votes for him when he stands up there and says he's gonna give the police more powers and more. Wants to give them indemnity, not just qualified immunity. He wants to give them indemnity against all prosecution. Well, you know what that's gonna do? They're gonna start. First thing they're gonna do is pull out their guns and shoot people. So, I'm not into that at all because they're killing people right and left. Now you watch on the YouTube and you see a lot of these cop things. It's a real bummer. So, yeah, well, it looks like there's only one person here now. Don't know who it is, but I don't get too many. It's the time, I think. It's only 15 after 5. I talked to I can't remember. The chemo's got my brain fogged a little bit. Somebody from the dude from Texas for a couple hours talking about building guns and all that stuff. I get into that, guys. I wish I was able to afford to have my gun shop again. But if you go down to these places, hey Robert, how you doing, buddy? But you go down to like Fin, Feather, and Fur, and they have a gunsmith on duty there, and you say, hey, I'd like to come down and work here. They want to give you like $10 an hour. Hey, we can start you out at $10 an hour. Bullshit. For 2 years of training, me being a master gunsmith. I got my master gunsmithing license. And they want to pay me $10 an hour for that. Screw that. I'm a doctor of guns, guys. And I really got into that and did a good job, and they want to pay you nothing for it if you work. You have to work for yourself if you're a gunsmith. That's the only way you're going to make the money. And when I had my gun shop, I had paint cans. We had a friend that worked for Pittsburgh Paint, and she had these, gallon paint can piggy banks. I don't know, I almost had 10 or 15 of them just stuffed with cash. Just completely stuffed with cash, because a lot of people would come in the shop and pay with cash, so I'd stuff it in there if I didn't need any money. And anytime we needed money, just go grab a paint can, because it was full of gobs of money. One of them I opened up one time. I figured when I got divorced, I had to, pull it out, get them out of there, so the wife wouldn't get them. She didn't even know they were in the paint cans. And I went ahead and I pulled that out, threw it in the van, and I opened it up. There was $4,000 in there. I didn't realize I had been stuffing so much money down the hole. And then change. My goodness, I had 600 and some bucks worth of just quarters and dimes and nickels and stuff. When you have your own business in your own shop, it's just gobs of money. Gobs and gobs. Of course, taxman comes and takes a shitload of it. They like to be your partner. I hate that the government is all of a sudden my partner. He didn't have any stake in the game. You know what I mean? My old boss paid for a lot of my gunsmithing school, so that was all bull crap, and that was costing $1,000 a month for that gunsmith school. But I made it through. That place. I got my sheepskin. I'm gonna have to get that framed when I move and hang it up on a wall somewhere. But I get a backer someday. Somebody who wants to help set me up. And if my hands get working again, I would love to start building rifles again. Just build them. I built my doctor one. He's a very frail Indian fellow, very small, very frail, super skinny. And I built him a lightweight 243. He wasn't going to deer hunt, but he'd come to my place. He did house visits, and when he seen the shop and all the guns, he thought that was cool, because over in India they don't really have them. And I thought, I'm going to build him a lightweight rifle. The dang thing, when it was all done, with 3 bullets in it, 1 in the chamber and 2 in the mag, because I had a custom mag for that, it only weighed 6 pounds. But I had recoil reducers in there, custom fitted stock for him. I made it out of balsa wood. I got these little strips of balsa wood, and then I cut it out with an X-Acto knife. And I ruined a couple. You got to be real careful cutting balsa wood. And I cut that out real neat, and then we laminated that together. It was a blonde colored, and then what I did was I put shoe polish on it to make it dark, and mixed that with bedding compound, thinned it out really good, and that made almost like a hard wood plastic stock for it. custom fit to the gun, and then super lightweight barrel, and I stretched a Mini Mark 10 action to make it lightweight, fluted the barrel, made it real light, muzzle brake for him, the whole bit, and gave him some ammo, and he's got that hanging up in his living room up on the wall. He pulls it down every month and wipes it down with oil, and he just loves it. Never fired it. I said, come on, we'll go to the range. He goes, no, I don't want to shoot it. It's too beautiful. Well, Tia, I don't know. They don't want to switch me up right now to somewhere else until it's through here. And we agreed on that because I'm working with this Dr. O'Brien and this Duke Aloft dude. And I want to stick with these guys until this is done. Now, the other hospital called. It's not Cleveland Clinic. It was St. Clair Hospital. They called to set me up next week for an appointment for seeing about when we're going to do they call it a transplant, where they're going to take my cells out of up here somewhere. I was doing some reading on the internet, and they take the cells out. They keep them for they take them out for 5 days, and they zap my immune system, and then they put them back. So hopefully, and I talked to some of the guys down at the, because we sit around in chairs all around when you're getting your chemo, and I talk to these guys. I'm me, I'm yakking my head off now. And, I talked to these guys, and the guy said it's not that bad, but you're in the hospital for 2 straight weeks. You can't leave. They don't let you go home for risk of infection and you dying. So that's going to be good. And I'm glad it's not at the VA because maybe they have good food over there. The dude that went over there to get it done, he was there for 2 weeks, and he said the food was really good. No, Robert, they're not telling me. That's what pissed me off yesterday. I said, okay, I got my eight chemos, I'm done, right? And they said, oh no, you're only on your second course. It's 8 courses. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I gotta keep coming back for this shit? And, I just was so depressed and just fed up with it yesterday. I walked out of there just with a cloud. My head was in a stinking cloud. I got on that van, and I crashed on the van going home. I usually talk with the van drivers, and he said, man, you look depressed when we got. I said, yeah, I am, because this isn't over. I'm on this stupid roller coaster ride that just doesn't, like, it's never going to end. And I don't like roller coasters. I want this to end, there be an end to it. End in sight, light at the end of the tunnel, something, but there's nothing. I'm stuck in the middle of a damn tunnel, and it's pissing me off. So, and then what's going to happen in 2-3 days, it's going to be where I can't walk again. I'm going to piss my damn pants trying to get to the bathroom. And I'm just getting fed up with it. I can take a lot, but I'm getting to the point of, I can't, if they don't get this finished, I ain't going to take much more. I'm just going to say, fuck it. And just stay home and let it just be done with it. I just wish it would be over. That one fella I talked to, Al, that's all he had was 8 treatments. 8 treatments, and he didn't need the stem cell. It worked good for him. And they're telling me this is working great. My kidneys are back up to functioning good. The cells aren't getting all broken. I'm not producing these 400,000 cells anymore. I'm down to under 400, which is, we're getting back to normal. And, I'll find out. We did all the blood work again yesterday, but I won't find out probably till today, what come up, whether I'm down to 40 or not, where they want me to be. So, and I got these stupid stinking chemo farts again, but at least it's not real stinky. When I was in the hospital when I first started chemo, man, I was getting these terrible chemo farts. But I got this stuff my buddy Gary told me about. This stuff right here, and I've been taking this, and now I'm getting to the point where I don't have to take it. I'm getting up, I'm able to go. I quit taking that one drug, and they said this patch here won't bind me up because it goes into the system differently, even though it is like a morphine stuff, and it doesn't get you all buzzed out. That's the last thing I want to be, taking something that's going to get me like a damn zombie, especially with the kids around. I want to do stuff with them. When they're going to do their school when they get home, I think after school, maybe we'll ride bikes or something. I feel good enough to ride the bike, ride the tandem. if everything works out good after we move, I want to get Dorothy I want to get her a bike early so that we can all ride. Because where we're moving to, we're right across the street from the bike trail. Where we're moving to, it's only a little bit down the road. We can be right back on the bike trail, ride it up this way or ride it all around. And Maddie and I, we took that bike trail everywhere. We took it all the way over to the Walmart the one day, riding the bike trail. We only had to get a little bit on Bagley for a while on the tandem, and now he's got his blue bike. He wants to ride on his own, but he's hard to keep up with. He's hard to be up with because when he gets on a bike, it's like he's full speed. He doesn't want to just leisurely ride a bike. He wants to give it all he's got, and it's making his legs strong. I mean, if you look at him, he gets out of the shower and he's getting dried off and stuff. I always buff his head. We put oil in his hair, and his legs are getting strong. No, I'm not gonna move into this place. We can get a place over. It's about a mile from here, and it's $400 a month cheaper, and it's a 2-bedroom. So we're gonna move over there, and it's where my sister used to live over there, and so they got an apartment that'll be ready in June. But we got to get our application in. She says, "Oh, you can bring the application in on a month. I'll hold it for you, but make sure you get your application in the month of May, which is now." So we got to get the $70 to pay, and then they want $300 a piece for like a deposit. But I'll have that next month because I'm going to use my deposit. I was a month ahead, which I'm using this month, and then next month I'm going to use the deposit. I'll let them come in and do the inspection. The only problem we have in the whole place is my chair did this to the wall, put those little marks on there, and they looked at that and said, "That's no big deal. We're going to paint right over that." And they don't count any holes in the wall. And I didn't put big holes in the wall. I was up at the dollar store, and they had these little thin wire. It's got a little yellow tool, and you can pop this tiny hole. It's like a 32nd hole, and then this fine wire slips through, and it's got a big loop, and then a little hook. So all my stuff is hanging on those. So I didn't really put holes in the wall. Paint's going to cover those little holes. I didn't want to come in here and trash. Plus, we vacuum every other day, and you don't get the carpet all trashed. But it's amazing how much stuff we pull out of the carpet every other day. I fill that bin with crap. Just our regular daily doings. Especially with the kids and stuff, we don't really eat much at the dining room table. We sit here and eat. I eat right here. They'll eat on the couch and stuff. So we do spill, but the kids don't make a mess. It's not, they know enough to put their milk up high so they don't knock it over. The kids are really well disciplined when it comes to stuff like that. So, but the one apartment, the 3-bedroom, they wanted $1,650. And the other one over here is $1,400 and something, $1,420, and I can get this place over the other place for like $920. So or $980, I think they said, because we're gonna have the carport. Carport was supposed to go with it. We'd like to get a dog. I would like to get a pit bull. I know that's another expense and everything, but it's nice to have a dog. If we're out somewhere. My pit bull, I used to ride my bicycle all the time, and the pit bull came with me. And when I rode the motorcycle, she rode right up on the gas tank. She'd put her back legs like across me, and the front legs hanging over the tank. And I had some goggles. She would wear her goggles, and I had a little leather hat for her. And we'd go trucking down the road, and she never fell off. She was on there really solid. The 80-pound dog on the front. She was a great pup. So. But no, we're not going to move. We're not going to move. Now, this other place, though, it will be a second-floor apartment. So every day I'll get some exercise going up and down the stairs. I went up to our storage unit because we got TV. I saved all the TV boxes for moving and all the boxes for putting stuff in that could get broke. I threw the other boxes out, but like for things that could get broken, I got all the styrofoam for the TVs so that they don't get broken and move. And I climbed up those stairs, and boy, it was a chore. By the time I got to the top of the steps, I had to sit down. I couldn't. I made it the 2 flights, and that was it. I was done. HB Sim, did you know that your wide may qualify FEME? I don't know what that must have been. You must have been using the voice typing. Your benefit may qualify. I'm not sure. No, she's not a citizen yet. She qualifies for absolutely nothing. We looked into that already. She's a foreigner, and until we get this $1,440 I-485 done and they okay everything, she gets nothing. But once she does, then she'll get a Social Security number, and then we can go ahead and, because you can't move on with her paperwork without a Social Security number, and she doesn't have one. So we've looked into that 100%. The lady down at the VA, they have this woman down there, Regina Allen, that she's just been bending over backwards to help me. She's a older black lady, and I don't know, she's just treating me like I'm some kind of a damn king or something. She's bending over backwards, making copies, stuff that she really doesn't have to do, but she's doing it for us anyway. She's the one who set up my whole applications, because I can't write right now. You know, I look like a chicken with the palsy, my writing. You can't read a damn thing I'm writing. I got to get my wife to fill stuff out, write things down, because later on I can't read what I wrote. So she filled all that out for me down in her office. I mean, she's just been spending a ton of time on us. She wants to help us find a car. Just a super sweet lady. You can't run into a nicer person. She's in the perfect job. You know, she wants to help people, and she's been doing it for, I don't know, 40 years, and she just hasn't run out of gas yet. You know, and she's an old-timey woman. You know, you see her wearing the dresses down to her ankle, and you know, just a sweet, you know, grandmother, sweet grandmother lady, you might say. And I just love her to death. She came in to see me yesterday, and she brought me all the stuff. She made me all these copies, and she said, well, we're going to try to get you in for that, and if you have to physically go there and you can't, I'm gonna try to fix it up, and maybe we'll get you a proxy to go over there, and you know, from here. She said, I might take it over myself. You know, so that was, you know, she's bending over backwards for us, and she said, I'm on the #1 list for, you know, if there's a car donated or anything like that. And she says, no, I'm not going to get you a little tiny one. You're going to need a big one, you know, because I'm 6'8". She says, we'll keep an eye out for that for you, and hopefully something will happen. And they help you with, you know, they even help you with the registration and insurance when you first get started. You know, they want to get you back on your feet. Now I'm new back to the country after 11, 12 years. And, you know, she's wanting to help us get on our feet, and that's what we need. And there's even a thing, once Faye becomes a citizen and has a Social Security number, she can get paid to be my caretaker, which she's doing now for basically nothing. I mean, I don't really have, at the end of the month, you know, usually in the Philippines, she got money, like an allowance of money to put in her pocket, and I had a little bit of money to put in my pocket, but we're here now, and guess what? We ain't got nothing in our pockets. I don't even got a buck to give the kids when their teeth fall out. You know, they're losing teeth now, and you know, I'm the tooth fairy, and tooth fairy's broke. It's just expensive here. I'm thinking we get into that other apartment, that's going to be an extra $400 a month. You know, they took my damn insurance straight out, and that was $1,000 a month, which really sucked. You know, Ohio, they mandatory this, mandatory that. If they got that, they should pay for it. But now, supposedly, I'm under the limit, so I'll get a kickback on it. I don't know what that's going to be or when, but I'm understanding I could get like a $500 kickback, and I wish it would come, but anytime you deal with the government, that could come 6 months, 10 months from now, a year, who knows. You know, they put it in a basket, and it'll sit there for 2 or 3 months, and then somebody will get to it. And HB Sims, no, my wife don't want to sell it. And what if I pass away? She's going back. So she doesn't want to go back to nothing. She wants to go back to a house. So if something happened to me, I doubt she'll stay. The kids don't want to go back though. They want to stay here. They love it here. And I love it here. I have no desire to go back. You know, maybe a visit, I don't know. But for me, jumping on a plane now and getting squished into there, I can't afford first class. So I'm stuck back in coach with no room. You know, my knees are in my face, and you always get a 100-pound Filipino in front of you that lays the seat all the way back. So I got my knees in my face. I can't even put my tray down to eat my dinner. I get shit all over me. It's just, being 6'8" on economy blows, or coach or whatever they call it. And like I say, first class, I can't afford it. Now they did Qantas when I was coming here going to the Philippines the last time. Some fella seen me. There was two people standing up by the boarding pass thing, and they're like, "Hey, come here, come here." And they took my boarding pass and they gave me a first class one. And man, if you ever want to fly and you got an extra couple bucks, take a Qantas flight and go in there first class, because you definitely, as soon as you step through the first class curtain, they put a crown on your head and you become a king. That is the best damn airline. And I had good eats. I had this like a Dagwood sandwich with roast beef, and oh man, it was fantastic. They bring you a glass of wine. It's in a regular glass too. I had a glass of white wine with it, or red wine with it. Small one. They don't want you to get loaded or nothing. And then I slept on this big, beautiful recliner. It had heater, vibrator. It was nice. And then I woke up, and the guy standing right there, he's the guy for me. And he's like, "Would you like anything?" And I said, "Could I see the menu again?" And they brought me a menu, and I had me this fantastic dinner, just like if you go to a 5-star restaurant. So if ever you can do first class and you want to pamper yourself one time, take a long flight on a Qantas and take the first class. It was nice. Hey, John, I feel really good today. I woke up at must have been about 5:30, 3:30, something like that, and I'm absolutely having no pain. They gave me the girl down at the hospital gave me this new one. It's called buprenorphine. You can read that yourself. Where is that? Yeah, right there. And it's a patch that you wear for a week, and I'm telling you what, it's working. Because this is the first time, usually after the chemo, I feel better, but I still can't put a lot of weight on my hip and all that. But right now, I have no pain. My right knee hurts a little bit, but I'm not swollen anymore anywhere. There's no swelling on my feet and everything. I went into the hospital. I had gained 6 pounds. Doctor said you need to gain weight. He says you need to go buy yogurt and ice cream and some of that tiger's milk and get some weight back on you. Get some muscle weight. And we got a weight room down here, but it's so funny. I used to be able to bench these ridiculous amounts of weight. Now I'm lucky to push up 80 pounds. I mean, it was everything I could do to push up 80 pounds. I mean, that's like a little girl. But, Lord willing, I'll get back to my old self. They claim I'm going to get back. They said in a year you're going to forget all this ever happened. You're going to be back to your old self. You'll be picking up your weight, and you're going to be in good shape. And I'm hoping to get back on the bike, because when the kids go to school, it'd be nice to throw my sweetie on the back of the bike, and we can go to the cheaper stores and get food. Like, it'd be nice, I got that milk crate on the back. We could run up to Aldi's and get the good deal on the avocados, because I pretty much eat an avocado or two every day. That'll pump weight on you. I wish I could get some durian, because I'd eat one of them a day, and those will pack the weight on you real quick. If you eat durian, and I can eat a whole durian by myself. I just love them. Some people in the Philippines, foreigners, they don't like them. They don't like the smell. They don't want anything to do with them. But me, it tastes like a really good pudding. It smells bad. It's like Limburger cheese. Limburger cheese is, when I brought some here, the regular block, not the creamed one, the regular block, and you open that block, it smells like an old wino's dirty socks that he's been wearing for 15 years. And they're all black. They used to be white, now they're black, and that's what it smells like, but boy, does it taste good. I could just sit and eat that Limburger cheese all day. I used to have Limburger. The only ones who eat it, my sister Jan will eat it with me, and my mother will eat it with me, and my mother's gone now. And we used to have Limburger cheese parties. We'd get some white wine, and one time with my mother, we had Limburger cheese, and she made martinis. And she don't have a regular martini glass. She had this like monstrously big one, and she made me, and we got looped. we were up till 3 a.m. laughing our butts off eating Limburger cheese, and I drank only one martini, and I'm not kidding. I was looped. But we had fun. We watched The Blob on TV, the one from the 60s. Where at the end they took it up to Alaska and dumped it off, because when it was frozen, it didn't eat people. The one where the old guy had his stick and it started climbing. Hey, what's going on? And started climbing up his arm and devouring him. And we had a great day that day. That was one of my favorite visits I had with her. So yeah, it's stinky, but it was just her and we didn't care if we stunk up the house. You know, when it was all done, I will remember waking up in the morning. I felt great the next morning. I said, man, it smells like dirty laundry. It's exactly what it smelled like dirty laundry. And she had a washing machine right there, so we threw a bunch of clothes in the laundry, but that wasn't it. It was that wrapper from the Limburger cheese. It's like a waxed wrapper, so I wound up just taking the garbage out and opened up some windows, and, you know, before the rest of her friends came over, because she had some buddies that would stop in the mornings and stuff, her old-time buddies. And she didn't want the place being stinky when they showed, because she said they won't stay. But love the Limburger cheese. I love durian, and I even eat balut. You know, a lot of people don't want to eat balut. I don't like it if it's went too long and there's feathers and all that, and the beak starts getting hard. But if you catch it at the right time, I like it. But if you go to the Philippines, they got a trick too. If they want to rob you, if ever you get a balut and you do want to try it, make sure it's not cracked. You have to be the one to crack it. And the other thing too is if they bring you a water, sometimes they'll stick a napkin on there and take the cap off. Don't drink it. It's either water from a tap or they put something in it. And then you get, you know, like a roofie, you get all wobbly and outside, and they got their buddies waiting outside ready to rob you. And they'll take your wallet. And, you know, it's not so much losing the money, because when you go to them places, don't carry a bunch, but they'll take your driver's license, and replacing all that is a bummer. What's happening with you, John? I know my one buddy in Australia, he had a stroke, and you know, just a young guy, 54 years old, had a stroke. So, you know, you can be good one day and your whole world will flip over upside down the next. So, you know, thank the good Lord for every breath you get in health. You know, and I look at some people that live to be in their 80s and 90s and they're healthy right up till the end, and that is a blessing like you would never believe. You know, just turn yourself to the good Lord and talk to Him every day, and you know, He will. Oh yeah, prostrate. Yeah, get some of yourself some saw palmetto. My one buddy, he's having trouble with his, and he didn't know anything about it, so he went up to the GNC and he got some, and he said, "Man, you're right, buddy. This stuff works." It should help shrink his prostate a little bit, but the arthritis, I got it all over. You know, it's not only the cancer I got, but I got arthritis too in my wrists and my knees. You know, they scanned it and they said, yeah, you got arthritis. So, you know, and my brother has it, you know, and you just got to suffer with it. Eventually it'll go away. I know my mother had it for years, and then one day she said, my hands quit hurting. You know, they just stopped. She was eating aspirins. I used to buy her a 500 bottle aspirin, and she would eat them like candy. She said, it's the only thing that'll work, and it was the only thing she would take for it. Now, me with the blood thinners, I can't take aspirin now. They don't want me touching the stuff. But they're giving me rat poison, Coumadin. So, and they're telling me that they're going to start weaning me off of that. You can't just quit. You know, I'm getting 1.5 now. So then they're going to move me down for a couple weeks to 1. Then I'm going to go to a half. And then I'm going to go to a quarter. And then after I do a quarter for a week, I can quit. Now, codeine works good. You know, the best one that works if you can get it for pain is Demerol. They have this stuff called Demerol, and you can get a Vistaril chaser on it. And that, to me, that was the absolute best pain medicine I ever had. But because of my kidneys, the function of my kidneys, it leaves your body through the kidneys. So if you have any kind of kidney problem, they don't want you taking that. But they gave me this patch. Check this stuff out if you can. I don't know if they have that where you're at, but this is what it's called, if you can read that. It's a patch you put on. It lasts for 1 week. I'll change it out next Sunday, and I'm on my first day of it. And they said usually it takes a day or two before the stuff works. Well, it's working. It's absolutely 100% working, because I am 100% pain-free, except a little bit in my knee. This knee's just a little bit wonky, and my fingers are a little bit, you know, they're stronger now than they were in the past 6 months. You know, look at this. I can bend them. This is the most. I couldn't make a fist. I'm almost being able to make a fist right now, which this is the first day of that, and I might even be able to pull my clutch cable in. I think I'm going to go outside today and piddle around and put my stunt clutch on and see if I can get the center stand on. You know, I'll try it. If my hands are working, I'll do it. If not, well, I'll just wait. I couldn't even turn the bathroom shower head on, you know, because we got to cinch it tight so it doesn't drip. And I couldn't turn that this morning. So, you know, it's just one of them deals. It's a bummer, but what are you gonna do? But hopefully in the next few weeks I'll be getting my hands back, and you know, I'd like to take the bike. I want to take the bike up for the service. I'm going to let them do the service. That way it's written down in the book, because they're going to check the doohickey, and they got a whole bunch of checks they're going to do. And this is my free one. The only thing they said I had to do was pay for the oil, and I have the oil and I have the filter already. They gave me that when I bought the bike. So I'll just bring that in, and the guy said, yeah, he says, we'll charge you. If I do have them put the center stand on and the righteous touch gloves, he says, you're looking to get out of here for way less than $100, bub. He says, those are nothing to put on. It only takes 5 minutes to put the center stand on. He said, which one did you buy? And I said, I wound up buying the SW Motec. He goes, yeah. He goes, we'll put that on for $15. You know, that's nothing. And he says, your stunt clutch. He said, that's that and the mirror perch. He said, you're looking at another 15, maybe $20. Don't worry about it. Yeah, John, you know something? I had to leave the Philippines because the VA down there, that's all run by Filipinos. And I've said this a million times. If you've got a good doctor in the Philippines, he leaves. He leaves and he goes to Australia, England, Europe, America, Canada, and he makes his fortune and then retires in the Philippines. But the ones who stay, they're the dregs. They're the ones who got D's in class, and you know, they don't do anything for you. My one doctor I had, you come in, you give him his 500 pesos, he looks you over and then sends you home. You know, and I was sick. I said, there's something wrong with me, doc. You know, can you look me over? And they ran a couple scans and said, hey, you're all right. You know, and then I come here and they're, man, buddy, you're full of cancer. I mean, they found it out as soon as I got it through the emergency room up here, and they said, buddy, you're covered from your ankles to your neck. You know, and we got to get you on chemo immediately. And then I was having trouble with my insurance, so that put it off for months. They found out in September I was in trouble, and I didn't get any treatment up until January, February, before the insurance kicked in, because it's expensive. The last bill I saw was $69,000. Which I was lucky they took care of my copay for me. I don't know what the rest of it's going to be, but I don't know what the stem cell is going to be, but I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of a copayment on that, and we're hoping we got to transfer the kids' money from the Philippines so that we'll have a little bit extra every month, because you know their insurance, the insurance was $820, so it's a bummer. Yeah, there you go, buddy. You know, stick your nose in there, and I'm a firm believer in talking to the good Lord every day. I thank him when I open my eyes in the morning. That's the first thing. Thank you for giving me the start of another day. I'm under no illusions that I'm going to get the rest of the day. I'm just thank you for the start. You know, that my eyes are open and I'm here. It's a gift. You know, every breath you get, you have to realize it's a gift from the good Lord above. And I do believe our days are numbered. My mother always said that. You know, we're a vapor. We're nothing but a vapor, because I looked in the mirror the other day and there's this old dude looking at me. You know, what happened to that young guy I used to talk to? He's gone. Him and Elvis left the building. They're gone, guys, and there's only this old dude left that can hardly get around anymore. You know, I never realized that at 63 I'd be, you know, kind of like an invalid. You know, I can't do stuff without help. I can't put my socks on by myself. Now this morning I was able to get my socks on. It's the first day in 6 months I was able to put socks on by myself. So that was good. I still can't cut my own fingernails. I don't have the strength in my hand to run the clippers. I saw a really nice pair of clippers online that they're just for somebody like me. with arthritis, and they got a big handle on them, and they're like levered so that you can get it. So I got to be careful though in the Coumadin that I don't cut myself or anything, and my toes too. I just go down to the VA and let the podiatrist take care of my toes because I don't want to get another ingrown toenail or something that'll start to bleed on this Coumadin and won't stop. So I'll let them do it. I'll let them take care of it. You know, just while I'm sitting doing the chemo, I can call them up, and the girl comes in, and I mean that's what they do, you know. And they clean them. They clean your feet. My wife, she don't like me going around stinky. She gets up there every morning, and she does. She cleans my feet, guys. And sometimes I don't think I deserve her. I really don't. Yeah, Peter, it's hopefully I head on to a nice recovery and I can get back to my old self. I used to be strong. You know, I was a high voltage electrician, and I could do the work of 10 guys, and that probably was my mistake because that's what I did my whole career. I did the work of 10 guys. You know, I never was a superintendent that sat in an office somewhere, you know, stuffing my face with donuts. I put my belt on and I was out there with the guys working, and they appreciated that. And you know, I'd work so much with the one crew, and then I'd leave that crew and go to the next crew and just get things moving. I never had a job where I came in late. I had one job that I did. It was T&I Section 8 housing. We came in 6 months ahead of schedule, and my boss was happy, and I did it with about half the guys too. I said, you give me the guys I want, and I'll work miracles for you, buddy. And he gave me my crew, brought a bunch of guys in that I knew were good workers, and we knocked that place out in no time. I mean, we finished it up, and he was amazed. And then the security guard, we went home on a weekend because we were celebrating. We had a big party because we finished the first phase 6 months early, and they came in and trashed the place. They stole all our electric. They stole the toilets. I mean, and then we still got her done. We finished, even though we had to go back in on insurance, we still finished it before the thing because they get a $5,000 a day fine for every day they're late. Yeah, you know something, HB, you're 100% right on that. They're just, they take good care of you. You know, that's why they make the best nurses and stuff. When I was in the Philippines before, they were courting Filipino, corpsmen, you know, basically a nurse in the Navy, and signing those guys up. And if you're old and you get to where you can't go, the best thing in the world you can do for yourself is get yourself a Filipino nurse, because they fall in love with you and they take good care of you. I mean, they go the extra mile every second of the day to be sweet to you. So my wife and I, we bicker sometimes, but that's just because I'm a cranky old prick. I know it. She knows it. What are you gonna do? It's just I ran crews of electricians for all them years. You know, when I was out in California, and you run into some real, gosh, one guy came in one time. He's in flip-flops. He's got his work boots with no socks hanging over his shoulder, and he had a pair of linesmen's and a screwdriver and a set of dikes and a little tiny leather thing. I'm ready to go to work. Get the hell out of here. You ain't ready for nothing, pal. Where's your tools? Right here. I can do anything with this linesman. Best hammer they make. Yeah, get out of here. These guys who would come for applications out in California. That's why when I moved to California, they said, oh, you're from Western Pennsylvania. I said, yeah, I worked there for years. And they said, oh, man. And I got hired immediately. I actually, there was a fellow I used to fish with. His name was Montelli. And his nephew was out in California. And I just happened upon him. And I said, Montelli, you don't hear many people named Montelli. I fished with a guy, Abraham Montelli. He said, that's my uncle. And boom, I was hired. He goes, yeah, he talked about you before. You went and did some work at his house. I said, yeah, I did a service on his house. And I hung a bunch of ceiling fans for him. And I liked him. I went fishing with him, so I gave him this real good price break. I think I worked over there for 2 days, and I charged him $100, you know, because I liked the old guy, and he didn't have much money. And it was he was only right up the street from my house. And he loved to fish. And I went fishing with him a bunch of times. And he goes, yeah, he talked about you. He said, you're really a hell of a guy. So boom, I was hired. I was running a crew for him. But then he got cancer and he passed away. And then the guy that took over was a Filipino prick who didn't like me because, you know, he was one of these guys said, yeah, you go to the Philippines and you steal our women. So he treated me like dirt and I just moved on. I said, I ain't working for this asshole. You know, some Filipinos, when they become boss, they just become these tyrants, and you screw them. I had a girl that was a real sweet girl at the call center, and I asked my boss, I want to move her up, and she turned into this tyrant, started treating people like dirt, and we busted her back down. But yeah, I used to go out to the Missouri River and catch those buffalo carp. You got to clean that dirt vein out of their back and all that, but that's some great fishing. What I used to do with mine is cut them right to the skin, and then fry them real good in ghee, in flour, pepper, salt, and cornmeal. You know, dip it all in because you're making little slices along the body all the way up to the front, and then you open that up and you bread it, and then you put it in the ghee and you fry it up. And man, I'm telling you what, I could eat a big one, and that's a big fish. You know, those carp. It was nothing to catch a 25-pound buffalo. Yeah, I wasn't one for if I caught a nice fish, I wasn't throwing it back. And my other favorite fish to eat is bluegill. We had a farmer that lived close to us. He had 2 big ponds. And once you put a bluegill in a pond, they eat the eggs of every other fish. So that's all you're going to get. And you don't need a fishing pole. You need just a long stick with a string on the end and put a little worm with a tiny hook and just set it along the edge in the evening. And you can fill a 5-gallon bucket in an hour of those fish, and they'll live for days in that bucket. And my buddy showed me how to skin them. You lay them on the board, and you slice it right to the bone. You flip them over, and you slice it right to the skin. And then we were putting them in a cast iron skillet with a load of butter, and it's like, to me, it's hillbilly lobster. I just love it. Well, I ate the carp. I love the buffalo carp. Now the other carps they had, and like catfish and stuff, you can keep it if you ask me. You know, I like tuna jaw, and when we were out in the Philippines, some guys were catching them orange roughies and stuff. I love those. Sturgeon, I never liked. I didn't like them much. I caught a real big one time, and then of course it was a half-inch too short, so the dude came over on the boat, and I had to throw it back. I'm throwing this monstrous fish. I had to throw it back because he was a half-inch too short. So that was a bummer. But my friend caught a big one. He caught one that was about 4 inches over. And his wife cooked it up, and I ate it. But it was like, yeah, take it or leave it. It was okay, but it wasn't anything I'm going to write home about, you know. And I won't. If somebody offers it again, I'll just decline. You know, it's not a fish I like. But bluegill, I'm not turning bluegill down. I'm not turning scallops down. I'm not turning orange roughy down. You can forget that. If somebody's got some orange roughy, I'm there. And the carp, if it's cooked right. You fry it and make it nice and crunchy. Yeah, I love that. My uncles out in Missouri used to have a fish house. You know, that's what they did after they retired from there. My one uncle worked on the Standard Oil boats on the Missouri River, barge tender. And when he retired, him and his brother opened up a fish house. And they had the hoop nets and stuff. That was fun. I don't know what a palis is. It's maybe a fish that I know what it is, but it's a different name that you guys use. Oh, trout, that's another fish. As far as I'm concerned, you can take a trout. I'll catch a trout and I'll throw it right back. They're fun to catch, but I don't like them. I don't like a trout at all. I think that's to me, you know, might as well eat dog turds. Now I did have some shark fin one time. The dude caught this. We were out fishing and he caught a shark. And they pulled it in. I didn't know I thought he was going to just let the thing go, but he said, no, we pulled that in and we took it in and he cooked it. He sliced that big fin off and he threw it on the grill and he cooked that. And I liked it. Salmon, I'll eat the hell out of salmon, buddy. HB, I'll suck this. If you get the fresh caught stuff, not the penned in salmon, you know, that they grow here. The meat's like a very slight orange. It's almost gray. But if you get a real salmon that's orange inside and not dyed, which you can find here, you know, you get the regular stuff that goes up the river. Those ones, I'll eat the heck out of those. I like to fry them up too in ghee. I make ghee. I got to get in there. I'm feeling better. I might make some ghee today. I haven't made any, and we're out. And my wife's been cooking stuff now in coconut oil. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the ghee maybe today. I feel good, and on the days I feel good, I got to get up and do stuff. Because who knows what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day. So hopefully this medicine they gave me works. Like 2 people that are taking it are saying you're going to love it. You're going to be really happy because it doesn't make you dizzy, and the pain's just going to be gone. And I'm hoping that's the case. The girl came in yesterday and said, I'm going to give you the prescription for that. So I went down to the pharmacy and picked it up. They didn't charge me a dime for it. I just gave them my driver's license and they handed it over. So, yeah, the fresh only HB. You got it. That's the salmon you want. That's the salmon I like. So, yeah, I'm glad a few guys are still here. All the way from England, huh? John? Yeah, you gotta go back. The Philippines. If you start getting sick, it's best to be able to have that ticket. I always said you gotta have some money in reserve in case you gotta get your ass out of Dodge. Now, I had the money for me, but I didn't have the money for my wife. But I'm really thankful to all you subscribers that chipped in. So many people sent 5, 10, 15, 25 bucks, and then one fellow said 1,000. Before you know it, we had her tickets for her and all the kids. My buddy Gary, he chipped in, and he's the one who got the tickets for us, found us a good deal, because you can buy tickets cheaper in the Philippines than you can here. And he everybody went like the mile for us, just because I had a channel and good Christian folk, being good to us. And, it's a gift. I truly believe all you guys that come on here and yak back and forth with me are a gift. And I do appreciate all the things you do for this little tiny Rickshaw family. That's not really my name. That was a name they gave me at the call center. I worked for an Indian guy, and I bought a Piaggio Api diesel. And in India they call that like a rickshaw, motorized rickshaw. So he made me a plaque on my desk that said rickshaw. Not 2 words, one word. So all the guys there called me Mr. Rick or Mr. Shaw or something like that. So Mindanao, I was down there in Davao City running the call center for 6 months. All right, take care, John. And thanks for the blessing. I appreciate it, buddy, because we all need it. We all need the blessing from the good Lord. Without him, we're nothing. We're absolutely nothing, and we're going to the lake of fire if you don't. I see so many people that don't believe into him. I watched a cop show the other day. The guy was doing a Christian thing. He wasn't doing anything wrong. And this cop's like, I don't believe in God. Screw you. And arrested him, hauled him off to jail. And I'm like, man, the guy doesn't realize that, he's a lost soul. And, you want to try to get those people back. Even people you don't like. I don't want to see anyone go with Satan. Because it's a raw deal, guys. That's not what you want. You want to go and be with your Creator, not the evil one. He was cast out, and he's cast down here. Everybody thinks, oh, he's in the center. No, he's walking the face of the earth, because it even says in the Bible, God walked with him. Look what they did to what was that fellow's name now? I can't think of the name. Where the devil just gave him boils and all that stuff. And no matter what, he still thanked the good Lord every day. Job. Was it Job? I think it was. Right now, I'm telling you what, the chemo's got my head not remembering stuff. I hope I don't get old-timer's disease. Hey, Zane, how you doing, buddy? And thank you, HB. Appreciate it. That's for everybody. Bless you all. Thank you. Thank you for being here for us, our little tiny family. Because moving from the Philippines to here, it just cuts your money down. I'm paying $1,100 a month for a stinking 1-bedroom, just to keep the kids in a good school district. I can get a lot cheaper. I could go over to another town and probably get it for half, but, I can't have these kids in a number 2 school district in the state of Ohio. At least Berea City schools are rated as like a number 8. They're one of the better schools around here. And there's other towns too. Like you live in Lakewood, but there's not too many apartments. I got to rent a house, and we're looking at house rentals and stuff. Very expensive. Hopefully we can buy something, but we'll go down south. Ronald was telling me there's a real good district down there, and we could be out on the edge of the county where the houses are cheaper, and there's still a school bus that comes and picks them up. So, we're looking forward to, once I get all this chemo done and get straightened out, if that's the way it's going to be, then we want to head down south and get in some warm weather, because the snow's great, but if I want to, I can come up for Christmas and visit, or if I'm really hurting for some snow, I'll stick my head in the freezer, but I'm not digging it. My hands right now, any cold weather on my hands, and they just quit working, and that's not good. But I got to get my watch fixed. I got to get a battery in here. It quit on the 16th of last month. But that's the second battery I had in it. But Walmart, they'll put a battery in there for like $4.50. So, and I don't have the tool for taking it apart. I don't want to booger the thing up. I don't have hardly any tools anymore. After I got here, there was on Facebook Marketplace, there was a dude, an older gentleman. He was selling all his tools. He said, and he had just tons of tools. And I said, buddy, I don't have a car. Would you be willing to bring them over? And he says, I'll put them in my trunk. He says, you can look them over and take what you want. I'll give you a good deal. So for $100, I got like a complete tool set. Some of them were boogered up. Some of the screwdrivers I had to just throw out. They were shot. But most of the stuff was good. I got a real nice socket set off of him. Him and his girlfriend, they sell tools also, new stuff. So, when he brought over some new stuff in the back of this big Cadillac, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take that socket set, and I bought all the stuff, and he wound up giving me everything for like $100. And I got a big level. I got some carpentry tools and saws and just hand tools, which right now I can't use because my hands don't work. But I want to get back to doing my old stuff. I wish I could get back into gunsmithing. I might see if I could get a license for it and see if I can find a used lathe somewhere and a used milling machine. Try to find a deal. And if we can buy a house down south, I'd like to set up in a little tiny gun shop. I can get a gunsmith license easy because I had one for years before, and I'd like to set it up to where I could, at least repair guns and do stuff just to keep real busy. Teach the kids, and let them learn how to do a trade. I'm not one for them going to college and being some kind of office thing. I'm more of one. Let's get them into some blue collar work because. You get. I have some buddies that they went to college and now they're getting a job for $25 an hour and they're struggling making their payments. That they borrowed. They borrowed hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to school, and the schools are so expensive. I'd rather have a trade. I got into electrical ABC program, and you get paid while you work. Even when you go to school, your boss still pays you. It's a deal that they make with ABC. And I didn't make a lot back then, but I learned my trade, and I enjoyed it. I remember I started out as a plumber, and the day I quit, here's what happened: the guy sends me out, and I have to dig a ditch by hand because it was these Amish people didn't want a ditch witch, no gasoline motor, and they wanted to put a 300-foot trench in so they could put lights out at the end at their horse farm. And I'm hand digging this, and I was about a quarter of the way done at noon, and the boss called up, "You gonna have that done by the end of the day?" And I said, "Nope," because it had to be deep, because you got a frost line here. And he said, "Okay, I'm gonna send the guy out." So he sends this old guy, and I laughed because he was 45. I called that an old guy back then. And I says, "Damn, Grandpa, you're kind of late for starting a new trade." And he goes, "No, I've been doing this for 25 years." And I said, "Well, boy, did you piss your boss off or what?" He says, "Nope, as long as you're a plumber, you're going to be digging in this shit." And that was my last day. I said, I'm not digging. I'm not going to dig my whole career. And then I went back down to where all the unions were, and I saw the electricians union. They all had real nice cars and stuff, and I went in and put my name on the list. And then I got some people who backed me. I had some people who said, okay, he'd be a good guy. Give him a try. And when I got in there, I busted my ass, even though I wasn't, I screwed some things up. My first boss told me, he said, yeah, you screwed some things up, but in the time that you screwed it up and fixed it, you were done before most of my guys anyway, so I'm gonna keep you. And he gave me really good reports. I was a top guy, and I moved up. I made foreman in 5 years, and I loved the work. I just loved being an electrician because you could do something a little bit different every day if you wanted to. I started out at residential, then I got into commercial, then I got into the industrial. We worked a steel mill one time, and then I got into high voltage. I'm rated up to 66,000. I didn't get my 166,000 rating because I retired before that, but I was going for that. And I was very safe. I had no accidents on my job, none. Because I know how to read a print. We went into this one building, and the way these guys had wired it, a company came in and rewired a switch because it was hot in this transformer. You couldn't turn it off. So they wired an SF gas switch in there, and they ran the hots through the transformer. So they went to the switch, and the only thing the switch did was turn the switch off. It never turned the power off to the transformer. One leg, it turned on one leg. I'm like, gosh, dang, you get these rummies in there. So we had to go in there and fix it. And it cost them a couple $100,000 for us to get in there and fix it. But it had to be done. And then another place I went into, they had a square D gear section in this T&I, and they brought us in for troubleshooting because every time they turned it on, it tripped everything. Well, and I don't even understand why it was like this. But they put the switch on the left side when it was supposed to go on the right side. They were looking at the print, and they put it in exactly backwards. So it was tripping everything. So the only thing we had to do was take the one gear section over here and move it to the other side, and then move that one over to this side, and then everything worked. And to this day, I have no idea why that happened. I tried to get a hold of Square D and ask them what the deal was, and nobody knew. They said, it's just the way that works. And to this day, I don't know why, but you have to do things exactly like it's on the print. When the engineer draws that stuff up, and you catch engineers making mistakes too. I had a fellow named Dan, a hell of a lot smarter than me. He came from a family of electricians, from like 10 generations of electricians way back when electricity first started. And he was a whiz, and I made him my lead guy. Because we'd go over the prints and stuff. I'd always go over with him because he knew he was a top guy. He should have had my job, actually, but he didn't want it. He said, I don't want to run anybody. He says, I want to run myself. That's it. He was an Irish fella. Had the orangest hair you ever seen. And then I had his buddy that came in one time. He was working on a transformer, and instead of shutting it off, which the switch was right there, shut the transformer off, because it had a loose Allen wrench, and instead of using the Allen wrench, he beat a big screwdriver in there, and he hit the case while it was hot. And the damn aluminum just exploded in his face, and this whole side of his face, he lost an eye, and this whole side of his face was covered in aluminum. And to this day, when you see him, this whole side of his face is all gray from that. And I'm like, how stupid can you get? If you're working, there's a switch, you can turn it off. And if the company says, no, we don't want you to turn it off, you just say, hey, get somebody else. Bye. I was a big one for turning everything off and then testing it, and locking and tagging it out. We didn't have any accidents, but some guys, they don't do that. When I got into California, the reason why I got there was they had a fella, he just went into a building. He was a high voltage contractor, and he was going to do a P&M on the transformer. So he went in the building, just shut it off, never told anybody. And it was the end of the day, and they called the shop and said, hey, our power's out. What's going on? So they send a guy up, and it wasn't tripped. Somebody had physically turned it off. So, and it was a locked area. You had to have the key to get in this area. And they got these weird keys too. You ain't picking that lock. You can, but it would probably take you forever. And he just thought, okay, I'm going to turn it back on. Well, these guys were in the transformer and lit them up. It was the end of the day. He said, I'll just turn it on. Now, myself, I wouldn't have done that. I'd have thrown a lock, and I'd have thrown a tag on it, and I'd have got the print, and the prints are right there. And I would have said, where is this going? What's going on? And I went and found those guys and said, hey man, you got to put your locks and tags. Your lock and tag out has your picture on it and everything. And if you take somebody's lock and tag out, it's a $10,000 fine and a year in jail. I mean, you know, because you can. And what happened was it blew a hole in this one guy's head. He had his head leaning up against the thing on the transformer, 4160 transformer. It blew a big part of his head out. He lived, but you know, an invalid. And the other fellow killed him outright. You know, so that was a $25 million lawsuit that they had. And that's when I got hired in because I had a 100% safety record in my years of working. So, you know, so they hired me in there, and I moved up quick. I went from lead man to supervisor and just kept moving up the chain real fast there. You know, because I worked. I remember I was lead guy, and the guy gave me a job, and the supervisor, he didn't like that I got hired. Some of the guys didn't like me down there because you know, they didn't know me. And it's a clique down there, and he gave me these 2 jobs to do, and he told everybody that'll take him a couple weeks, and it took me till 2:30 to finish them both, and he didn't believe it, so he came out and looked, and he's going, man, I can't believe this. And then it was a couple days later, we were doing a switching, which is by law, 2 people in there in moon suits, and he was having all these people in there, and I'm like, I do not agree with this. I want to phase this. We're not throwing that switch until we phase it. And he's like, well, then you can get out of here. And I threw my lock and tag out on there, and I called OSHA. And next thing you know, he retired, and I took a spot. I didn't mean to, but that's exactly what happened, because they couldn't afford another accident. You know, that was $25 million, the last one. So they backed me 100%. They brought us into a meeting. I was off for a few months, paid administrative leave, both of us. And then when we came back, they had a meeting. They said, oh, Mr. So-and-so, he's retiring, but we don't have a supervisor. Would you like the job? And I was like, yeah. And that kicked me up $30,000 a year. I went from 60 to 90,000 there. And then I just kept moving up. I finished out at about 150 grand. You know, plus you do a ton of overtime. I got all the overtime I wanted. And and I went for that. I was a single guy, and what am I going to do at home? Twiddle my thumbs, work on my motorcycle. I do that on the weekends. But it gave me enough money. I bought I went down to a company called NHRH, and they were running the Bonneville Salt Flats and just winning on these Harleys and stuff. Not the V-Rod, the regular Harleys. And I got a hold of them and said, look, I want to build the fastest street bike in Southern California. What do you got for me? And it was, for all the stuff, it was around 13, 14,000 for all their stuff, the big crank and all this. And they wanted me to use the 96 motor and stroke it. And flat top titanium pistons, the whole bit. I pulled the thing apart on the weekend, and I put all their stuff in it. And I had to send the case out to get it milled. I had to send the case to them because when I stroked it, they had to cut some stuff off, and I didn't have the tools for that, and I didn't want to do it with a file. So, you get all that stuff in there. So I sent that out, and they milled it for me, and I put that together. And then they said you need to get a supercharger, and I bought a Pro Charger, all run off the laptop. Everything ran off the laptop, computerized, and then I had those don't have a wastegate. They got a computerized control type wastegate. And it ran 20 pounds of boost, and I had 150 shot of nitrous, and boy, that was the speediest bike. And what was really cool, you charge I had it set up to where when you put the high beams on, because it had the two big, I called it the freight train, it had these two big headlights, and the way you charge the nitrous, and I had the tank hidden, you couldn't see the nitrous tank. You put the high beams on, and that charged the nitrous, and as soon as you hit full throttle, I had to go put a king and queen seat on it with a big bolster in the back, and I immediately got rid of the front controls and had to put mid controls on it. I had the speed shifter on it. You don't touch the clutch. You do not clutch the clutch. It's got an interrupter in it. As soon as it hits that little thing on the tack and the red light comes on, you've got pressure on the shifter. It pops you right into the next gear. And by the time I was down the quarter mile, 3 gears, and I was doing 150. And I had it limited at 150. I'd get towards the end of the thing in the motor, you'd hear the motor cutting down, shutting the nitrous off. And that's like throwing the brakes on. But I had the kids down at the engineering lab extended my rear end 4 inches. I had the instructor for free he gave him a job of keeping it so the front end would stay down. And then I lengthened the front end by 6 inches, but it was raked a little bit more so that it was laid out. It didn't, and I had it raised up to fit me real good. And I had to extend the kickstand and all that, but that thing was a monster. It was a monster. I did a real good job, except one oil line I didn't tighten. I got oil in my leg one day. I had to get out, stop, and tighten that up. But I did a real good job on that. Followed the numbers. It was like building a model. And I built that bike, and it got stolen, though. It got stolen right out in front of my house. And then the police came, and they said, hey, we found the frame in the field over there of your bike. They stole that motor. And they stole that ProCharger. That ProCharger was $5,000. And I had the police for 20 pounds. But, a cast iron jug on there. I overbuilt it. I overbuilt that damn thing. And I wanted to ride it. I figured I want to put the thing together and ride it. And then my other bike I had at that time, which I wish I had today, was my favorite bike I ever owned, was that Buell Ulysses. They got their oil bag is in the swing arm. They got the big canister, servo-controlled exhaust down underneath. The fuel was in the frame. That was like a broke Superior of its day, and Harley shut them down. I wish I could get a Buell Ulysses. That was my favorite bike. It had the Thunderstorm V-twin, 104 horsepower, and boy, it knew how to use that horsepower. The damn fueling on it, and the computer was spot on. Eric Buell is a genius when it comes to bikes. Now they're putting Rotax motors in his bikes. I think he's still building them, in his own company. But I looked at the Rotax. It's small. It's a little tiny bike. It's for 140-pound riders. Not for me. I would have loved to have one because they're like 125 horsepower. But I was a speedy guy. I had to jump on that thing and race every time I pulled up to the light, somebody wanted to race. Whether they was in a four-banger Honda or whatever, everybody wanted to race. That thing was just so speedy. It was, you just hit the gas like boop, 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 and you're doing way over 100. I took it on, after it was broke in, I took it on a road trip. I drove all the way down to Flagstaff and then all the way up to Las Vegas, almost a 1,000-mile trip, and I did it in a little over 10 hours. I was cruising on the highway. I had really good headlights on it, that you could see real far away, and then I had an LED thing for watching for coyotes out to the sides. I had that, and in the middle of the night, nobody on the road, took the 40, and I'm cruising along at 130 miles an hour, and this bike was just purring along like a kitten at 130. And it was good. It didn't suck a lot of gas. The tank, I had that tank that it came with, and they had a bigger one that I put on because the bike got bigger. I raised it up and everything, and it looked funny with the smaller tank, so I put the bigger tank. I had a ton of money into that thing. I bought it for $18,000. I put $18,000 into it, and I had a $36,000 monster. Nothing touched that. I had different guys wanted to race me, and I'd look at racing a Hayabusa. What do I do that for? In a quarter mile, I'm kicking his ass, but past quarter mile, then they're shooting past you because those things are really building up, and I don't think I could even touch an H1. The new one Kawasaki's got with the turbo. I don't think I could touch that bike. Those things are just crazy fast, and they don't let you take them for a ride. They don't. If you wanna buy one, you pay them the cash, and then if you want to fall down, it's on you. But I went there, wanted to take one of those so bad for a ride, and they're like, no, absolutely not. You want to ride that, you give us 25 grand, and then you can go ride it. And I was like, oh, okay. I wish they had a ride day for one of those out at the track or something. I would have loved to try that at the track. But when I went to track days, I had a 650, SV 650. And I did pretty good. I did real good on that bike. That one was, I bought it used, and the dude already had the suspension done, and I took it to the suspension dude because of my weight. And there was a dude down there, he didn't charge me a dime. And he set my suspension up, he got in there with his tools, he says, this should be good for you, let's do a run. And then I did a run, I came in second in my heat, and then I brought it back, and he said, I'm gonna fix that front end a little bit better for you. So he got in there and he played around with the front end, and then he stiffened up the back just a little bit more. And then I started coming in the top 10 every time I went, and that was a lot of fun. But you go through tires. Like, because of my weight and the tires that were on it and the rim size, I went through tires like every month. It was just eating right down to the cords on them. He said, man, you're just, he says, lighten up a little bit at the end. You're winning, you're just giving it a little bit too much and you're eating your tires. I said, well, I got the money. And I take it into my shop and put a brand new set. I like those Michelin Pilot 2s, and I was using them, and those last pretty good. I could get 2 months out of them, where the Pirellis, a month, 3-4 times, and those things were shot, but sticky. I mean, they are a sticky tire. I was really confident with them, but the Pilots were pretty good, and I did a little bit of sliding, you know. I hate the sidewall, but I just love the bikes. I don't want to race cars. I did when I was young. I raced oval track with late modified, and then I also got into those little, I can't remember the name of those little cars that have no flywheel. What they do is they basically put a 350 engine in these things. They're a little short car, and they take the flywheel out. So when you touch the gas, they go from 0 to 8 gram, like, and if you're not careful, you blow the motor, and there's no torque converter. You got a little petcock on there that bangs it into gear, and they run the two-speed slush box, the Power Glide tranny and those things, and boy, they just get up and go. And then my brother, he used to go to the Smash 'em derbies. He'd buy these big old Mercuries and go to Smash 'em derbies. That's what we did, but it was too expensive. And then I got into bikes because I could afford that. Back when I was younger, I had some speedy bikes, had a Cal 900 that was already, I didn't have to touch anything on that. It was souped up from the factory. That was a speedy bike. But it wasn't the best in cornering, But that was a lot of fun them days. Hell of a lot of fun. But I'm going to go ahead and let you go. It's time to wake the kids up. Let's see what time we got. Shoot. The clock does not show up on the phone when I'm doing the live. Oh, they're not there. They got a half an hour, 45 minutes yet before they got to get up. But they got school today. I feel pretty good. I'm going to see if I can go do a little bit on the bike. I think I can maybe run a screwdriver, and if not, I'll get my son to help me when he gets home from school. He's pretty tough. I'm going to teach him how to do all this stuff. And I'm going to try to do just the Righteous Studs clutch first. Just that. Because it said if I put it on the last knob, the new one, it's out in the garage, but the new one, the old one had one place to put the little lead plug. This one has 3, and it'll go all the way up to 45% reduction. It's a little harder on the cable, but I'm going to oil the cable up while I got it off. And if that works, I'm going to leave it. But if not, I'm going to put that longer clutch arm. There's a much longer clutch arm on there. So I'll put that on. And then I also got the mirror perch. I bought that. And I have a center stand. And if I can't do it, I'll just let the dealership do it. They said they'd do it. I can get out of there for under $100 for everything. So, not this month, but maybe in the coming months I'll get that done because I want to ride. I love that damn bike. It was the perfect bike for me. It's a Kawasaki KLR 650. It's way high up in the air. I can see over all the traffic, and it's a head turner. It's booger green, and it's just a fantastic machine for me. You go over bumps. I need it with my back. I need something that rides smooth. I had an XR 650 that I could hit boulders and it didn't matter out in the desert. That thing just was smooth as could be. But this one here, it's kind of a trade-off because I got the nice big windshield. I'd like to do some trips on it. When the kids are in school, it'd be nice for my wife and I just take a ride down to Columbus and go eat at a steakhouse somewhere. You know what I mean? And I'm not a crazy rider anymore. I'm not one of these guys. I'm not wanting to do 120 miles an hour anymore. Just get on the freeway, do my speed limit, stay in my lane, and just look at the scenery. When I was in the Philippines, one of the best things I had was the motorcycle there and the tricycle, because they go slower and you can look around a little bit while you're driving. You can see the sights and stuff instead of just racing past everything. And that's where I'm at now in my life. I just want to stop and smell the roses. I don't want to just blast through everything like I used to. If I'm going somewhere, I just drove straight through. Now I want to stop here and there, say hi to people and get something to eat, and like that, So retired. I'm retired now. That's my retirement bike, and I hope to the good Lord I'll be able to ride it some more. There's not that many miles on it, but I got some MAMS oil I'm going to put in it. You got to, and remember, when you guys are using synthetic, you can't use car synthetic in your motorcycle if you got a wet clutch. You have to use the T oil that has no molybdenum in it. Otherwise, that molybdenum sticks to your clutch face and your clutch starts slipping. You know, and you'll find out the hard way. A guy said, "Oh, that ruins your bike." Yeah, well, you're using the wrong one, buddy. You know, synthetic is the best thing because there's no flocculation, there's no dirt in it. It's man-made. And the molecules are separate. Your bikes run cooler. I had a car that was overheating years ago. It would get hot. It wouldn't really overheat, but it would get right up to the line on the temperature gauge. And I switched it out. That was that 409 I had. I switched it out to synthetic Mobil 1 and put it right in the middle. You put the heat gauge right in the middle because it's dissipating the heat better. Of course, I did throw an oil cooler on it too. I took I went down to the junkyard and I bought another transmission cooler that fits on the bottom of the radiator. And Flexolite sold me the fans for it that were run off of a computer. When it got to a certain 180 degrees or something, then these fans would come on. So I had this really nice big cooler for it because I didn't want to overheat that and ruin that motor. That was a great car. That Catalina, 67 Catalina wagon I had. Came out of Arizona. The dude who bought it brand new, he had heavy duty suspension put on it and the 411 because he was a painter and he would fill the back end full of paint. No seats. He took all the seats out. Still had them though. When I got it, I put the seats back in it. And a buddy of mine bought it from Arizona and brought it out to Illinois. And I dug around his house so he could seal the basement from water. And that's what he gave me. And I wound up getting a couple Peugeots off him too. I got a Peugeot 304 off of him and a Peugeot 305. And they're junk. Yeah, it's 6:30 here. It's 6:30 there, Gary. I got up early. I'm telling you what, buddy, I feel great, but I'm not done with the chemo yet, which really sucks. They gave me this new stuff, Gary. I don't know if you could see this. They gave me this yesterday, and some of the guys were telling the girl came in from the pain clinic, and she says, "We're going to try you on this stuff. It doesn't hurt your kidneys. Running through your system. It's a patch you wear for 7 days." And I put that thing on yesterday. As quick as I got home and woke up this morning, I feel like $1,000,000. My knee hurts a little bit. My hands are hurting just a little bit, but I can make a fist. First time I can make a fist in 6 months. Look at that. And this isn't hurting so bad in here anymore, and I gained 6 pounds. So I'm on hopefully, with the good Lord, I'm heading for recovery. So yeah, it's a pain med, and I'm telling you what, it's working. My hip doesn't hurt at all. None. And the one fellow that was in there yesterday, he was saying, "Hey, Russell, hi, buddy." He was telling me that they should have put you on that months ago. He says they know that stuff works and they should have put it on you, but it's expensive. I mean, I didn't get a bill for it, but it was a few $100 for that for 4 patches. It was like 500 some bucks. But they gave it to me. They didn't charge me for it. And she says she's going to give me a month's supply. And then when I come back next month, they'll give me another one if it works. And I'm telling you, it's working because I got up and went to the can. No pain. I'm up, I'm moving. So yeah, I'm really glad I got it because I was, it's been like this. And then I was supposed to have 8 treatments. Now they're telling me, no, it's 8 courses. I'm nowhere near done. I'm only on the 2nd course of 8. So I'm halfway through, and I just walked out of there so depressed yesterday, Gary. It wasn't funny. I thought I was done with this and I was going to go for the stem cell. They did call me yesterday and told me that they're going to set me up an appointment Wednesday at this other hospital where they do the stem cell, and then they're going to schedule to get me in. And one of the fellows down there told me how they do it. They go right up here somewhere and they take the stem cells out for 5 days. And then after 5 days, they zap your immune system and they put these back. And hopefully that works out. And they said, you get that. He says, they did that to me 10 years ago. The dude had a brain tumor and he had tumors all in his neck and stuff and in his chest. And he said, it's gone. He says, my body fought it off. And big fat guy, big old ex-Navy senior chief. He's a real cool guy. And he said, just get it. So, that's where that's going to be next, but I don't know when. But this stuff, as of now, it worked. It soaked into me all last night. Yeah, I'm glad they got me on something that maybe it'll make it a little bit easier to get the chemo. I don't get sick with the chemo, and it did turn my hair black. Expensive hair dye. Yeah, I thought it was eight chemos, but it's not. It's 8 courses. So, and she said, "Look, you're going to start your 3rd course next Monday," and I'm like, "You're kidding me?" And she goes, "No, there's four shots per course." And I'm like, "Oh crap." It's like never ending. I think because they found out, the one guy told me he only did 8 and then he was done. Then he went to stem cell. Well, me, I guess now that I got really good insurance, they're going to use it up. But I still got a little pea-sized thing on my nerve in my back, according to the last scan. It's small. Well, it's not, a little bit bigger than a pea, probably half the size of a ping pong ball. That's still there, and then I got a pea-sized one on my shoulder. But I'm moving my arm now. I can get my arms up above my head now. I couldn't do that before. I couldn't even wash my hair before. My wife was washing my hair for me, and so it is what it is. I gotta go through their program, and there's no swelling in my legs no more. I took that steroid yesterday. I'm not sick from that. Blood sugar seems okay, so my body's starting to get used to the deadly poison that they're feeding me. But I'm glad I got the patch. So the big girl came in the other day from the pain clinic, and she says, "We're gonna try you on this stuff, and it won't hurt your kidneys. So we researched it real good, and we're gonna let you have this." And I'm like, "Okay, great." And it's working, guys, because this is the best I've felt in 6 months. I mean, I'm no problem at all. So hopefully I'll be able to start doing things myself. I can get my knees up to my chest now. I couldn't step into the tub the other day, and now I can get my knees up to my chest. My right hip is not hurting at all. I mean, that's gone. So, and I do have to get up. I'll even show you. Look at this. I'm walking all around now. I still have a mighty hunch though. I'm like old Montgomery Burns on The Simpsons. I got a mighty hunch. They gave me that damn radium, and that kind of locked up the bone in my back, but I gotta use the can, so you guys have to bear with me for a minute. I've been going through 4 liters of water a day. They want me to get lots of water, keep my kidneys running clear, and everything's running real clear. And they said my kidney function is almost back to normal. They do the test. Now today I'm going to find out. This might be the day that they say, "Okay, guess what? Your kidneys are back to normal, and you're good to go." And they're going to start weaning me off the Coumadin, and they have to check the antibodies to see how many antibodies I'm producing. If I'm still producing 400, they want me to stay on the thinner. But if the antibodies are back down to 40 per milliliter where they're supposed to be, they said they're going to start weaning me off of that. Morning. Feel pretty good today, sweetie.
I know that.
Yeah, I feel great.
Very good.
Little bit bent over. I'm not definitely not 100%. But the cool thing is I'm pain free. I don't have any pain. Just a little bit in my knee. This right knee is just a tiny bit sore. Wow, I got zoomed in. I don't know what happened there. Okay, I'll have to sit back a little bit. But there's a little bit of pain in my right knee, like on the left side of it. Like the kneecap is messed up, but it's like nothing compared to what it was. And my shoulders don't hurt at all. My right hip doesn't hurt. I'm putting weight on it. So whatever this stuff is, and my buddy Ronald said his buddy's going through chemo now, and they got him on this stuff too. And he said, man, once they started giving him that, he was real happy. So, oh well, this is the way she goes, But I don't know how I zoomed that in like that. I must have hit something with my thumb when I was walking. But how you doing down there today, Gary? Everything going well? I know you went to the wake. Was that a nice ride? Yeah, John, I'm real happy they got me. And I hope it works. We'll find out in the next couple of days, because usually the third, fourth day after chemo, that's when I'm shot. You know,
Wait for that day.
what's that?
Wait for that day.
Yeah, we're waiting for, third and fourth day to see if this stuff really is going to kick in, because usually after the chemo, my body just says, you're done. This time my electrolytes were okay. From what they're saying, the preliminary blood test, that the electrolytes were okay and my red blood cells were okay this time. And doctor says, hey, you're getting better, whether you know it or not. You're coming along exactly like we want. He says you're going to be going into remission real soon. So, yeah, you guys need some rain. I heard out in California too, they're getting nailed with super high heat right now. Sean was telling me that it's just ridiculous there. And then he was out of his house for the water main broke, so they stuck him in a hotel. So he said at least we were able to run the air conditioner full blast. They're probably gonna come to visit us sometime, probably after we move. I'm looking forward to meeting him. I guess he's gonna go through and go where he used to live, so he's gonna stop along the way and come visit. That's why I want to get hopefully we get better situated to where I can get some bed couches. I'd like, in the summertime, I'd like my daughter to come, and I don't want her sleeping on the floor. I'd like to get a couple of, they got down for $1,000 at Walmart. I can get a regular size couch that has a bed in it, and also a love seat that has a bed in it. It's more like a wider than a twin. Well, I guess the love seat one is a twin, and then there's a double for the regular couch. And that way she can come and her kids can the kids can lay there and she can have a bed if she comes to visit. And we're going to have an extra room. I'm going to kind of make that an office and also like a guest room, because we all pile in the same spot. The kids, Dorothy and Maddie, they pile in on the air mattresses, and Faye, Mumu, and I are all out here. I got this real nice hospital bed though. Slept like a log last night. I got home from the chemo, fell asleep immediately until about 10 o'clock. It was a good sleep too. They didn't wake me up. And then we ate lasagna, and then I fell back asleep up until about 3:30. And just feel great, guys. Just absolutely. Yeah, I went down to Walmart, and they had a special. It's like a closeout special, $20 for two double blow up ones, and then I had to buy the pump. That was like $14 to blow them up, and little patch kit came with them, and the kids are sleeping on them. I slept on them. When Maddie and I first got here, we each had one, and you sleep great on them. The only bad thing is I had to put blankets on top of it, because when the winter started coming, it got cold. I didn't know how to turn the heater on up there, and I finally got the maintenance guy, and it's the dial that turns the heater on in the bedroom is way up in the back, and the little lid doesn't open anymore. They like pop riveted it tight because people were messing with it, so they pop riveted it. So he had to get his fingers up in there and turn it on for us. Plus we got the heater in the bathroom, but the main heater in the house, we shut that off. We don't need it anymore. Yeah, Russell, you and me both, brother. You and me both. I just not into that pain thing. I mean, I just kept grinning and bearing it, but it was really starting to wear me down. After 8-9 weeks of this stuff. I mean, it was starting to get to me, and I don't usually let stuff get to me. I came out of there yesterday. My eyes was all like black, like a raccoon. My wife was saying your skin color was all funny looking, and I'm like, yeah, I'm getting poisoned. What are you gonna do? Like the doctor told me, he's a funny guy. His name's O'Brien. He says, well, I am poisoning you half to death. And I said, yeah, I guess so. He says, that's what we're killing this with. But the more I read about it, what that is on the bone, it's a fungus. And I know over in Germany, they're using ivermectin, and they're killing it with that. And you're not getting all the problems that chemo has, but nobody will do that here. It's still here. It's in test phases, so they don't want to do it to anybody. Plus, there's no money in ivermectin. I mean, it's $6 a pill for those. I got a couple bottles in the medicine chest, but I'm afraid to take them because I don't know if it's going to mess with my kidneys or not. And my kidney function is just now coming back. They was all clogged up, guys. From them cells breaking off. My cell, it was making 400,000 of these cells and they weren't coming out as a cell. They were coming out broken, like pieces. And the kidney was getting them in my blood and throwing them off, and it was clogging my kidneys up. I mean, I was every day in the hospital. I was just like hours away from getting dialysis, is what that kidney doctor said. And they kept watching. He said, "Man, I waited till you got to, you were in the 90% non-function." And he said, "I just kept waiting because once you get on that, you're kind of tied to it." And we just had a friend of ours that was getting chemo at home with his wife. He passed away. His kidneys plugged up, and once they plug up, guys, you're done. You're done meat. You don't even know it. You just croak. 45 years old, and he croaked. So and then they had that medicine that was working real good on my hands, but it leaves your body through the kidney. And I was like, "No, I'm not taking it. You keep it." He said, "Well, we'll keep an eye on you." And no, I'd rather have the pain than take a chance on my kidneys quitting, because then you're done for. So I went ahead and cut that. And they gave me another one, but it didn't work very good. This new patch, though, guys, man, it's working good. I'm amazed that I can make a fist. Can't do it with my right hand yet. I can't. That's about as far as I can go with this one. And it's just ripping everything right in here when I try to squeeze. So, I got my hand squeezers. I got to try to use them, but I got still not much power in them. I think my left hand's going to be able to run the clutch on the bike, though, but I don't think I'd be able to do a long ride or anything, just little rides around, because I'm sure it's going to tire out real quick. And I don't want to take a chance. I'll put that stunt, if I can, I'm going to put that stunt clutch on today. That's just a nice little 2-finger thing, and it seems these 2 fingers are real strong right now. It's just the little ones where it's pulling in here. So that's what's going on with the chemo, guys. I'm putting these out so you guys know what happens in case it happens to you. So no, we didn't do that yet, Gary. We got to get out there. He's got school today, and I'm going to go out. I feel pretty good. I'm going to go out and try to get it on myself. And if I have trouble with the screwdriver, then when he comes home from school, we'll get him. Because I got a big wrench, big torque wrench. There's torque figures you put that at. So, 18 pounds of torque on that. And then the center stand. I'll see if I can do it. If I can, I can. If I can't, well, that's just the way it is right now. I was always handy at stuff, but I got to not overdo it and hurt anything, because right now, if I break a bone, they said I'm taking some kind of medicine that's keeping my bones from growing to keep this cancer from growing. And it also stops the bones from growing. That's why the dentist wouldn't do anything to my teeth. I got right here in these root canals, I got a problem with them. And he says, yeah, eventually that's going to have to come out. And we'll put an appliance in there, because it's getting infected. And, but he said, we can't do it now. They got me on some stuff that's all cleared up now. The dentist gave me some stuff and it's cleared up, but these ones are gone. They had to replace these ones over here. They're the only white ones I got, the store-boughts. I'm getting all yellow teeth from chewing tobacco and drinking coffee, so. Oh, well, but we'll get it in. We'll get it in there, buddy. Gary, we'll get that in, and hopefully I'll be able to ride it. And it's green, kind of matches the bike. It's not as pretty as green as the bike, but close enough. And then I had to buy, because the mirror is on the stock clutch perch, I had to buy a clutch perch for it. And then, of course, there's that little adjustment screw is going to have to come out for the clutch perch to fit. And that sucks. That kind of sucks, but what are you going to do? Yeah, pretty soon, man. I'm going to look like a young guy like Duterte, a 78-year-old guy with jet black hair. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'll be one of them guys. My face will be all wrinkled and falling off, and all black hair. Right, Mommy? She's over there laughing. She's laughing on the bed there. She's just starting to wake up. But we're going to get started and get a good breakfast and stuff. And I'm glad I was able to fill the refrigerator this month. I hope it lasts us out most of the month, but plenty of food. I bought a bunch of them Salisbury steaks, and I know I'm not supposed to eat the mashed potatoes, but I don't know. I just love mashed potatoes. So I had some mashed potatoes and Salisbury steak the other day. We're going to have to get some green beans, though. That would be the ideal dinner for me. Mashed potatoes, Salisbury steak, and green beans, string beans. To me, that's high living, guys. And the other thing I like is greens, but with the Coumadin, they don't want me eating spinach and all that stuff that I like. So a lot of the food I eat it's not tasting right. That's why I wasn't gaining weight. But that's where we're at right now. And we're getting some light. Let me open up the curtains here. See outside.
Please turn on the to reheat the food.
Oh yeah, I gotta turn the oven on. Hang on guys, I gotta turn the oven on. We'll get that warmed up. Yeah, we bought one of them big, I bought a real big Stouffer's lasagna thing, and we had that for dinner last night. And boy, you don't have to do anything to them. You don't have to add anything. I like to put a little bit of red hot on there, and that was really good. And so we still got a whole bunch of it left. So we're gonna have that for breakfast this morning. And I got a nice new bottle of red hot in there. So I'm I'm ready to go. I love the lasagna, and that'll help you gain some weight. You know, I got to gain weight. I gained 6 pounds between last week and this week. And it wasn't because of the clothes I was wearing, because you know they have you take everything off. They have you take your shoe off and your jacket and everything to weigh you there. So I gained 6 pounds. So I'm 196 pounds now. So that's good. Plus, Gary, this stuff has got me going regular now. I don't even have to take it. I actually got up the other morning and went just fine. You know, and you guys out there in YouTube land, if you run into any kind of binding thing, my buddy Gary gave me one of the best gifts I could ever get. This stuff right here. You buy this stuff, you can get it from Walmart. I got this whole canister for 18 bucks, not, almost 19. And online, they delivered it like the next day. And I started taking it, and I'm telling you, don't go nowhere. do, do not do not leave the house. And if you can get some Depends diapers too, you probably better throw one of them on just in case, because it cleaned me out. I mean, holy cow! I went to the can. I lost about 6 pounds just going. You know, because you get blocked up on the medicine, but I quit taking the morphine stuff, the little pills that they were giving me. You know, because it was blocking me up too bad, and I just said, hell with it. I'm not taking them anymore. I'm just gonna have to suffer with the pain. And that in itself makes it so you don't want to go, you know, just getting into the can. But this stuff, I'm telling you, and I even showed it to the girl down at the hospital, because they give you all this other crap that doesn't work. You know, it was just blocking me up. Hey, Sammy, is he on there? I don't see you on there. When we're done here, I ought to put you on there, Gary, so we can see our little buddy. He's got a beautiful little boy, Sammy, over there in the Philippines, and that kid looks like he's growing like a bad weed. You know, it's fun. You know, being an older and having young ones like this. It's different. It's different than when I was young, because I was always working, trying to make a buck and all that stuff. So I didn't have the time with them like I do now. And now I got plenty of time with the kids, and that's a lot of fun. You know, it's nice to get showered in hugs in the morning, and it's just it makes for the start of a wonderful day. You know, when you got these little kids that unconditionally love you. You know, it's a gift from the good Lord above. That is 100% for sure. And I've got 3 of them, and they're all huggers. You know, Maddie, he gets so stingy on his hugs, but I think he's just teasing me. My little long-haired, curly guy. But he's really something special. Moo, he's something. That's the first thing he does when he gets out of bed. He runs over and gives me a big hug. Tells me he loves me, and that's a gift, guys. That is a 100% gift, and I hope it stays that way my whole life. I'm not going to do anything to ruin that. You know, I was tough on my older kids, but it's now that I'm older, I'm thinking, you know, maybe that wasn't the route to go. All right, the Sammy man. All right, buddy. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I hope one of these days I get to see you, buddy. Give you a big hug. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's 4 years old, and that's a perfect age for a little guy. You know, that's when they really start turning into dad's boy. You know, doing stuff with old dad, and my buddy Gary got himself a nice mower, so he'll be out there in the yard. You're gonna have some green ankles unless you wear some long socks, buddy. Maybe. Well, you got the bagger on it, so that's kind of cool. Start yourself a nice compost thing in the back, and throw all your kitchen waste in there, and you'll have some nice stuff for potted plants. And if you want to put a garden, you got room for a garden back there, don't you? On your lot. I had, when I lived in Pennsylvania, the lady had a lot across from me, but it was all grown up with brush and trees and stuff. And I went to see her. I says, "Hey, can I put a garden over there?" And she goes, you're the people put gardens there for years, and you're the first one to ask. You can do anything you want down there. So I bought a skill, not a skill. What was it? What brand was that? But I bought a real nice a steel chainsaw. I bought a 16-inch, and I went down there and I cut all the trees down so it wouldn't be shaded. And then I got to come along. On the edge of her property were these huge cherry trees, 60-year-old cherry trees, and I tied a big pull strap to that, and I pulled all the stumps out. And I had a beautiful 7 horsepower rototiller. It was one of the front tines, but it was a heavy duty. It had 3 gears, forward, reverse, the whole bit. And I went in there and I tilled that whole thing in. I had potatoes, I had corn, I just had tons of stuff come out of that garden. It was river bottom. Every year in the winter that comes up and fills up with the river silt, and that's fertilizer. Plus I had compost that I put on stuff. I had tomatoes like you wouldn't believe, corn. I had the corn more over on the shady side. The tomatoes I had over on the sunny side of it, because I didn't want to cut those cherry trees down. Those things are worth a lot of money. I mean, you get $3-4 grand for a cherry tree, easy. And I didn't want to cut her cherry tree, but she passed away, and then a granddaughter got it, and she threw me off. "You get out of here! That's my land." It's like you can't build there. It's zoned where you can't do anything over there because it's river bottom. It's kind of owned, you own it, but the state has so many feet from the river, and if the river comes up, it doesn't belong to her in the winter. It only belongs to her in the summer. It's crazy how it works there in Pennsylvania, but that's the way that worked. So many feet from the river edge that the state owns. And of course, that too, down there by the river, it had those Japanese silkweed, and I'm allergic to them. Every year I used to get real bad. So I went in there one year with a big old mask that we made, and I cut all them damn things the hell out of there. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, have a garden, man. That would be great to have a garden back there. Grow some tomatoes, and I like them tomatoes they grow in the Philippines. But Filipinos, they never wait for the tomato to get full size. They pick them off green and they eat them. But one of my favorite things to eat, when I was young, was fried green tomatoes. Dip them in egg, cornmeal, flour, salt, and pepper, and fry them up in some ghee. And boy, I'll tell you what, I'll eat 10 tomatoes, guy. I'll suck them babies up. I love fried green tomatoes. That used to be one of my favorites when I was a kid. Whenever they make that, boy, and they'd have a big old plate just for me because they knew I was going to eat it. I just love that stuff. I love all that country food. Okra, an okra, buddy, out in the Philippines, okra grows really good. I grew it here in the States, and I got little small ones. Growing it there in the Philippines, you get these monstrous okras, big ones, foot long. And my kids call them rhino boogers because they're all, around the seed, it's all gooey in there. But they come up every year, and asparagus grows. Asparagus grows really good there if you till the soil up good enough. You can buy one of them little Troy-built tiny tillers too, and those will work really good. And you can get manure. Asparagus grows the best in pig manure. It's stinky. But there's so many people got piggeries, and you can get some. You can get shovels full of that. Put it out in the sun, and let it dry to a powder. And then it's not so stinky. And then you smash it down, and you put that on the ground. Throw some dirt on top. Put your asparagus in there, and you will have some of the best asparagus you ever had. Because I lived by a pig farm, and that guy was telling me about that. And he grew stuff out of the garden. His kids would sell vegetables out in front of his place. Farms, you make money everywhere on a farm. And this guy had a big pig farm. And I used to go up there all the time and get his asparagus. He said, "Why don't you grow your own?" I said, "Well, you're shooting yourself in the foot." And he goes, "That's okay." He says, "You go ahead and you take this and dry it." He says, "You take this." He gave me a big old bag of pig poop, stinky. Threw it in the back of my truck. And I laid it out on the concrete in the alley, and I let that dry. And then we smashed it down to dust, picked it up with a coal shovel, laid that down about a foot down, and then I put the topsoil back on top, and I bought some mulch, stuff like that. And then I went ahead and put the asparagus in. And man, oh man, I had some of the most beautiful asparagus you ever seen. And you know, we like it. All of us here love asparagus. I mean, even the kids, they'll eat the hell out of this stuff. So it's nice to have a garden. You know, my whole life I always had a garden, but you know, when I went to the Philippines, I never had one because you know, land is a premium there. Then we were going to move down to Mindoro, and I was going to have a big garden down there, and you know, then this happened, and you know, I probably won't be going back to that. But we bought a bunch of land in Mindoro. We got the well in, the electric's in. Faye put the fence up. You know, we got the septic in. I mean, we're ready to build the house on it, and I probably won't be going back. So, but Faye wanted to live in one of them grass huts until the house is built, and I'm like, no, we need to sell the house in Lipa and just build one. You know, I'm not gonna live for. Yeah. Oh, we're back. Yeah, the thing's going off. Well, my phones are starting to get up. Dorothy just got up, so we're gonna get our day started. I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for you guys dropping in. It's always nice to be yakking. You know, it gives me something to do, talk to you guys, and I want to fill you in on how things are going with the chemo and all that. So, you know, it's actually looking up, guys. It's, you know, especially since they gave me this pain thing. I got a little, now I'm starting to get a little crick in my neck. You know, not bad though, but hopefully that this pain medicine, once it soaks in, they said usually after the second or third day, it's really going to kick in good. And she says, she promised me that it's not going to make me dizzy, because I told her, look, if you're going to give me something that's going to zone me out, I don't want no part of it. And I love the Demerol with the Vistaril, but buddy, that gets you high as a kite. I don't want that right now. I want to be on my feet and navigating without, because I remember when I took that Demerol with Vistaril, my mother came for a visit, and I was pain free, so I got up and fell over. And if I fall over now and break a wrist, it won't heal. So I got to be real careful. And I got plenty of stuff to grab onto walking around here. We got the pass real clear for me here in the apartment. And we haven't seen our new apartment yet, because they had to gut it and redo it. So hopefully it's big enough. It's a little bit bigger than this one square footage wise, but only by about 100 square foot compared to this one. This one's 800 and some square feet. That one's 900. So it was 102 square feet bigger with the extra bedroom, but we don't need a big bedroom. You know, bedrooms are for sleeping. We don't do anything in there, and storage in the closets. That's about it. So, but you guys all take care, and thanks for popping in. Yacked for a little over 2 hours, guys. So you take care, and God bless everybody out there, and thank you guys for all the help that you've given us in the past. We'll see you.